All right, welcome back. It's episode 2 of the 10,000 Screams campaign. We're not really celebrating anymore. Yesterday was 10,000. Today's just another day again. But yeah, basically we're following the Malekith 2-turn confederation guide for Malus Darkblade. This is sort of into phase 2 now. So we've done the confederation and the early game invasion. Sorry, Zarkan, didn't mean to cut you off there. Yeah, so we've done the early game confederation and invasion of Ulthuan, and now we're set about extracting said 10,000 screams from the Azure. There was a... Hey, Renaissance, how are you going? There was a new Warhammer 3 gameplay video that just dropped. Well, no, it's not. So, okay, so Creative Assembly it seems like Creative Assembly have released some in-game footage to the creators to then make videos with. So the creators themselves didn't get any, like, haven't got early access yet. They've just got the footage and they've been able to make videos with that. So yeah, so the first thing I was going to ask is, should we just watch those together or watch one of them together? Because I haven't seen them yet. They do go, I think they do go for a long time. Well, the one that I saw for Legend goes for 15 minutes, but I'm pretty happy to watch it unless you guys think it's boring. Going to be boring. There are a lot. Yeah, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll probably, like, not everyone's here yet anyway. So maybe we'll start off. We can start off with a bit of Legendverse video. And then we can like get into some campaign stuff after that. Yeah, I guess this is a pretty. Is there some significant information in there? Is it worth talking about? If I'm just going to watch like the 15-minute video and then I'm going to be like, oh well, I didn't learn anything new, that was a complete waste of time, then I don't really want to do it. But if there's good information in there, I definitely do want to cover it. So if anyone's watched any of those videos, if anyone thinks that it's interesting or there's anything to talk about, then please let me know. There's a few different things to discuss. All right, let's look at some videos. Give me 1 second. We'll just play some Malekith, and then I'll be back.
These chaos stretches bore me. At least with the Asur, I can enjoy their death screams. Yet it is a labor that must be undertaken. I claim this altar, not in Cain's name, but mine own. Savants of the desperate gods, I advise you, stay out of my way. If not, you shall face the might of the Druki, and our ways of killing are far more inventive than your own. Fools! Herds of Asur clog the path to Vor's petty shrine. Sweep them aside, my kin. Let the king approach the god, and have the god kneel. Send forth the vanguard. Have them prepare my way. Vor will deign to bless my sword. He will marvel at my creation. Or I will destroy all of his. Those that thought to slay me, know that I hold no grudge. For betrayal is part of our way. But now I expect you to die for me. The reptiles will seek to snare us, but we are the hunters. The trap is mine to spring. Ensure it is executed. Begin the attack. Return to me my spell shield. Ensure we are the hunters, not the prey.
All right. Yeah, so we'll check out some of these videos that dropped. I've got the Legend of Torowo one queued up first, as is only right. We can yeah, check out a bit of that. But yeah, if you guys want to, well, after that, I'll ask for some suggestions. Okay, so this is Legend of Total War's video. Let's check out some Total War Warhammer 3 gameplay.
Legend of Total War here, and today I'm fortunate enough to be able to showcase to you guys a battle from Total War Warhammer 3. Tzeentch is going up against the Ogre Kingdoms here, and Creative Assembly have very kindly allowed me and other creators to showcase some battles to you. So in this army here, there's a lot of variety. So we want to showcase as much of the army roster. It's not the whole thing, but as much of it as possible without it getting like too ridiculous. There's no more than 2 of any particular unit type. So going through them, we've got Kairos Fate Weaver there, the legendary lord for Tzeentch. We've got a Fire Wizard. We've got the Iridescent Horror. We've got a Soul Grinder of Tzeentch. 2 units of Chaos Knights of Tzeentch. 2 units of Exalted Pink Horrors, an Exalted Flamer, a Chaos Spawn, 2 units of Forsaken, 2 units of regular Flamers, 2 units of regular Pink Horrors, 2 Screamers of Tzeentch, and 2 units of Blue Horrors there. The battle's only going to be on normal battle difficulty, so we don't need to use amazing tactics here in order to win. From the initial look of the Ogre Kingdoms, they don't seem to be a super powerful faction on the battlefield. A lot of their monstrous infantry are just really big targets. Now, one thing to really note about this battle here is the army abilities for Tzeentch. As you use up Winds of Magic, it fills up the bar on the side there. Now, having already seen those abilities, and we'll see them throughout this battle as well, the third one is by far the most powerful. So I really like the Iridescent Horror of Tzeentch because it's got a lot of utility. It's quite fast, it's a flying unit, so ground units aren't going to be able to touch it. It's a spellcaster and a missile unit, so a lot of utility there. Now, thing to note here, you can see the Screamer of Horror down, Screamer of Tzeentch down there. The Protoss spell. Oh, we'll come back to that in a second. So we just did some spell casting there. Breath Attack did a bit of damage, and then we've got the Flames of Tzeentch coming down. Not exactly the best cast there, pretty much just a miss, but yeah, it's okay. But yeah, going back to the Protoss shields. The way that it works is that it's not each individual soldier has a shield, but the unit itself has a shield. So before any damage can be done to any of the units, you have to get rid of the entirety of the force field. And it regens very quickly, but they have to be out of combat in order for it to regen. You can see that the Screamer of Tzeentch completely restored its force field there. Now, they seem to be really bad against monsters. The Screamers of Tzeentch, I imagine that they can only really best be used against like artillery units.
Ogres, my lord.
Not using up against this single entity monster. So we can see the Horrors and Flamers do some serious damage there. They don't have the highest amount of range, so I can't imagine they're going to be able to compete with the Skaven in terms of range superiority. But if they're going up against melee-focused faction, then the amount of damage, just the sheer damage being done by these units, they just absolutely delete monstrous infantry, single entities, everything. They're not particularly accurate, but that doesn't matter. Doesn't seem to be doing a ton of friendly fire either, because our units, they're just holding their own just fine. We've got the Blue Horrors of Tzeentch there, and they're not really valuable, so it's not going to matter much if we do a bit of friendly fire. Penumbral Pendulum on a monstrous infantry or monstrous missile unit there is going to do next to nothing because it's best used against an infantry unit. So we got a like a bombardment spell coming down on that giant. It's not going to do very much at all because it's just not that good, but also the giant did kind of move out of the way. The first one was just a bit of a buff, not really high value in my opinion. It's the third spell that you really want to do, but you know, we want to showcase as much as possible of this, so you guys can get an idea of what to expect with Tzeentch in Total War Warhammer 3, and you just pick your style however you want. So the Screamers are just about defeated. I wasn't expecting much out of them. They don't seem very good, and also the Chaos Spawn, they got wiped out pretty quickly. Monstrous infantry just aren't really that good. They weren't good in Warhammer 2, and it doesn't seem like they're very good in Warhammer 3. And which is why most of the Ogre Kingdoms roster here has already been deleted, just because we just destroyed them straight away. The Mournfang cavalries are fast enough to get into combat. So yeah, the breath attack there does a bit of damage. Best used against like cheap, large numbers of infantry, not against single.
Is this a Storm of Chaos battle? I missed that. Is that what these things on the side are here? Is that the Storm of Chaos ability, or why is there 3 spells like on the side of the screen like that? What's that all about? I didn't really understand that part.
Some various abilities that Kairos has there, which are fairly useful stuff.
No need to go to the start.
And if he's got Greater Arcane Conduit as well, which if you have a look at his unit card in the top right of it, you can see when there is back on him, that's where the Greater Arcane Conduit shows up. Because you want that extra winds of magic coming in as fast as possible, especially with Tzeentch.
But yeah, so he's going to talk about when he gets the magic reserves back.
Every other giant, which is to say that they're going to be super vulnerable to missile units and just not going to be very good. I'm not actually super concerned about the Ogre Kingdoms being a threat on the battlefield. They just don't seem to have a very strong roster at this stage here, but of course I do need to see a little bit more. So the Fire Wizards, they just got the regular Law of Fire. We've seen all that stuff before in Warhammer 1 and 2. Didn't make particularly good use out of that wizard. Kai's Fate Weave has got regrowth there as well. Very useful for healing single entities.
More you cast, the more you get used to the sidebar. Okay.
Flames of Tzeentch on that ability, on that unit there isn't going to do much at all.
Oh, is that like a Tzeentch special faction ability?
That's best used against infantry. It's like, that one's okay. It seems to do a fair bit of damage. It covers more area than most other Vortex spells, but definitely does less damage than, say, Purple Sun of Xerius.
So Herbeck just said that the more you cast spells as Tzeentch, the more that you unlock this bar fills up, and then you get to use these spells. So that's what that's going on with that.
But the Tzeentch units are definitely holding their own. The Forsaken, well, one of them has regenerated all of its force field. The force field, I think, is a very powerful mechanic. Basically, Tzeentch is going to benefit greatly from hit and runs. You know, just attack them a little bit once your force fields run out.
Black Ark type spells, yeah. It sounds cool.
Regen and come back at them. I imagine they're going to be the most frustrating faction to go up against if the AOH behaves anywhere near as well as what they should with this stuff. Basically, you're going to want to pin them down and just shoot the crap out of them with like Skaven or whatever. Okay, so here we're going to showcase this powerful spell here, which even though the battle's over, I still want to showcase it. And just see how goddamn powerful it is. It's basically like Searing Doom times 100. Doesn't cost any Winds of Magic, you just have to spend Winds of Magic to get it. So my recommendation is don't even use the other ones, just get straight to this one. Really, really powerful spell. And that's the end of that video. Did you think I was playing the battle? Under no point did I say I was playing the battle. I'm in a bit of a trolley move there, so I was just gonna let you guys assume whether or not I was actually playing it. Of course, if you watched any of the other YouTubers first, you would have known that we've been given a bunch of videos to watch over. We don't actually have early access to Warhammer 3 at this point. So I was not playing that battle there. This wasn't like with the other battle where it was a video that we're sort of reacting to, but it was actually my gameplay from ages ago. This was a Creative Assembly developer that played it, did a whole bunch of videos, and we're reacting to it. So with these videos here, it's really important to note. I'm just going to turn the volume down on the video just a little bit as we just go over some of the stuff.
Yeah, cool. We'll check out some of the Great Book Grudges stuff in a second.
It's supposed to be like a show-off gameplay where we're like, look how good we are at this, which is why they wanted to make sure that as many units of the roster could feasibly put in. You don't want to put one unit of every type in the roster in your army, because that will make it perform just.
Well, should we come back? We'll come back to Legends comments. Like, we watched his initial battle play reaction. We can come back and listen to his, comments and summation type of thing afterwards, maybe. It might be a good thing to do. Just check out the Great Book of Grudges. All right. Tzeentch roster, Khorne roster, Cathay roster, Ogres roster. Alright, let's check out the Ogres roster.
Back with yet another Total War Warhammer 3 video. It's going to be a busy day, my friends. Now, we've got the Ogre Kingdom units that have been showcased today in the battles, and
the
we're going
lions?
to have a
What?
proper look at them. There's a video panning over them, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to let it play out, and we'll be confirming the roster of Creative Assembly works from
Goblin Noblar Trappers. Oh, okay, so we have to just let it play out. Alright, so we'll let this play out so we can see all the stats.
Okay, so we're able to stop off right here. 2 units of Noblars, we already knew this, and they're expendable. Again, we kind of guessed this. Though the Noblar Trappers are something quite interesting, as their passive ability is quite good. Minus 45% speed, minus 45% charge speed, and minus 40% charge bonus. Now, as always, this can be subject to change because that seems way too overpowered for a Noblar, but it is nice to know that we are going to get something to reduce charge bonus, which will come in handy versus, well, Tzeentch, because it's highly mobile, and pretty much anything that uses a lot of cavalry or moving units. Kislev will
Pretty weird that it says it says here it's a passive ability, then it says uses 1. So what's going on with that? Is it like when does it trigger? It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's confusing. Like, how is it a passive ability if it only has uses 1? Or maybe it's just permanently active. It like has 1 use because it's permanently active from the start of the game. That makes sense, I guess. Yeah, some people don't like Nathan's voice. He's a really cool guy though, so I don't like, do you know what I mean? I don't really think of it as like a voice, like oh, do I like that voice, like a singing voice, I just think of it as Nathan's voice, and Nathan's cool, so I like listening to him. But yeah, sorry about that if you don't like it.
Like that. So this is pretty good.
I can turn it down a little bit if it's bothering people, whatever, just as long as we can still hear him. Ogre Bulls, we've already seen these guys. These are the ones that we can hire. They're the cheap shit infantry. Is 24 the same? Yeah, 24 is the same size as the ones we've got.
So we've seen Ogre Bulls before, but this is quite important, the fact that they have Wallbreaker.
We didn't have that before.
A lot of the Ogres will be able to do this because, well, it just makes sense. This is an army that's not going to be able to climb up walls, so this is going to help out a lot, having pretty much everything with Wallbreaker.
So they can smash walls down. That's pretty cool. Jugger Charge is still the same as it was before. Gorges. Yeah, these look pretty cool. How many units? There's only 8 in a unit, so this is more like these are more like Minotaurs. Don't have any special abilities. What's that one? Gorger. Gorger ability target. Oh, right. So there's certain buffs and shit that only work on Gorges, I guess. So that's just saying they have that ability, so you can maybe like the gut mages or whatever the butchers can cast spells on them. These guys just the same. They're the same as ones we've got in game now, but they've got Wallbreaker. Yeah, you can actually attack walls in melee now. It's pretty cool. I think that we have got one example of them, haven't we? The Scaven Warp Grinders. They can do the same thing, can't they? I think there's 1 or 2 late units that were introduced very late into Warhammer 2 that have some sort of wall meleeing ability. I'm not sure if it'll be instituted the same way, but yeah, Man-Eaters have seen them already. The only difference is they got Wallbreaker. What are these? Saber Tusk pack. Oh, cool. So we got War Lions. 32 in a pack, so they're not like ginormous large lions. They're just kind of regular sized lions. Mornfang Cavalry, we've seen them before, but these are Iron Fists. They look exactly the same as the ones that we've already got, don't they? I don't know if there's much difference.
Interestingly enough, even monstrous cavalry like Mornfang Cavalry are going to have
they get the Wallbreaker as well.
It's obviously going to make sieges a lot more bearable for a faction that can't climb walls. Crushers with great weapons. Okay, cool.
So these are ogre. I thought these were called with the iron guts, with the ones with the masks. So these are crushers, the ones with the iron masks. Okay, there's a slave giant. Oh, I just called it a giant. Okay. So similar to the old normal giants. Giants can wall break as well. So I'm guessing everything that's monstrous infantry or large is going to be able to wall break. That's the new single entity skill there. Maybe Nathan will talk about it. Well, actually, let's just go back a second. So we already saw this previously, but anyone who's not aware of it, they're bringing in a new single entity thing here, which basically they just want to try and make it so that single entities do actually get a bit weaker as you beat them down. So basically, as soon as they get below 50% health, their weapon damage drops by 20%, their armor piercing drops by 20%, and their speed drops by 10%. So once you've got them like wounded, then they're like easier to kill and they're not quite as dangerous. I don't think that's really enough to make a difference, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm not gonna care. Like on my Tyrion that I use, or like my Tyrion that I use to tank like their whole army while I obliterate them with Sisters of Avalon Archer Fire. Like, who cares if he does a little bit less damage or less speed? It's not gonna make any difference. He'd probably never get down to 50% health anyway because he'd be so tanky. But if he did, he wouldn't give a shit, you know. But anyway, although they are going to make single entities less tanky another way by removing magic resistance. So if the enemies have got magic weapons, they'll be able to penetrate your physical resistance. Still can get ward save, but I doubt you'll be able to get as much. I doubt it'll be as easy to get full ward save. Oh, check out over here. The ogres have got the 3 magic spells as well. So, okay. So is that like every faction's going to get that now? I don't know if I like that idea. Has anyone seen any videos that talk about these 3 skills here? Is it like every single Warhammer 3 faction has these 3? So the idea being the more that you cast spells, the more that you power up your power meter for your like ultimate spells. Yeah, I don't know if I like that. It feels a bit gamey, but yeah, I don't know. Hopefully it's not for every faction.
I imagine that is just a placeholder, so don't get up in arms about it. They probably just have some placeholders, so when people play with it to test it, it's not just a unit that makes no noise.
Oh, this thing's a single entity as well. The scrub launch is a single entity. Interesting. Check out this bad boy. Stonehorn with harpoon launcher. Where's the harpoon launcher? What? Harpoon launcher. Where's the harpoon launcher? Oh, he's got a crossbow, which is a big crossbow, right? Big ogre crossbow.
Okay, so the Firebelly Fire Breath is coming as its own bound spell, which is quite good. We'll actually see a lot of the famous stuff from the Firebelly just embedded into the character, and I'm quite happy about that, so that means that they get a lot of the lore of fire as a baseline magical lore.
I think that's really cool that they're gonna. I wonder if that's gonna be a trend that a lot of characters are gonna have built-in unlimited use spells, because that way, so that's sort of a way to get around, you know, the limit. So like if you have like 10 casters for Cathay, instead of all 10 of them having to share this, they'll all be sharing the Winds of Magic, but they'll also each of them will have like 1 spell. Like I wonder if normal casters are gonna get signature spells for free. That'd be pretty cool. So like if like Fireball didn't cost Winds of Magic anymore, it was just like a timed cast or whatever. But yeah, I don't know, that would probably introduce other problems. I guess it's okay with these guys because they're on foot. If they were flying unit like on then it would be kind of BS if they could just cast unlimited, because that's going to open up, you know, all those cheesing opportunities. But on another note, how cool is the Firebelly model? They look awesome. They look so cool, like, and like unique and just crazy and stuff. I haven't seen them before. Like I didn't know. I haven't seen them in Warhammer.
Interesting, so Skrog is going to be able to generate more Winds of Magic as he's engaged in melee, which does make sense. He is a melee caster hybrid, so it's going to be quite interesting to see him there and gaining more Winds of Magic, just benefiting from just throwing him in and doing as much damage as possible. Okay,
so we're going to have, yeah, so I imagine there's going to be lots of different things like that that'll give you back magic reserves. I kind of like this magic reserves thing, the way they're doing it in a way. I think like it is a bit more gamey, like in a way, but I think in a good way, like that it makes you interact with it, and it's not so boring and straightforward as just having a
and
big
we've had the
pool.
whole spell lore of the Lore of the Great Moor shown off, which is just from the icons and so on. If you want to go back, you can easily rewind.
Scrag
This
does
is
look
why I
dope.
wanted to do these videos,
Scrag.
because it can show some stuff off which we haven't seen before, and it's just nice to see the models up close.
Yeah, he looks awesome. He's got no armor, has he? Yeah, very low armor. He's got decent HP, anti-infantry, AP damage. I didn't pay attention to any of these things, so...
And they've even showcased Skrog's famous item, the Cauldron of the Great Moor, which is pretty interesting, as what you can see here is it provides regeneration, but only for Gorgers, which is actually pretty cool. Look at this. It's even better if the unit is in close combat. So I'm imagining with Skrog, as goes his lore, you'll want to have as many Gorgers in your army as possible. And, well, this sounds pretty cool. It's one of those armies that you're going to have quite themed as, well, you get a lot of bonuses, I'm imagining. I'm imagining that Skrog is going to have a lot of bonuses in baseline traits to boost up the capabilities of all the Gorgers, which I think is going to be quite fun. I am leaning towards...
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that's right, Shabice. Yeah, that's what I was saying. So he's got some abilities that give you Winds of Magic reserves per second. So as this Winds of Magic up the top kind of filters down into the bottom and is used up, you can refill this top part, the reserves, by using their abilities. So he's got one where whenever he's in melee, you're getting like 0.2 reserves per second or something. So I think that's going to be probably a theme, I'm guessing, where, you know, more factions will have abilities like that. I'll just stop that for a second. But yeah, and it's sort of a bit more gamey, but it's sort of better in a way. I think, like before, you know, you would just stack stuff on the campaign map to have like 10,000 magic reserves, and then you just use it up and it would last forever, and you just use some arcane conduits to make your reserves come back super fast. So now it's a lot more interactive. You know, you've only got 100, you only be able to use your 100 reserves at first, and then but then you can use all these other mechanics to try to get your magic back, and you have to manage that and stuff. I think it's just more interesting. It's more complex. There's more things to interact with, you know. So I think that's cool. Oh yeah, did he talk about this stuff on the side here? Not going to talk about that. No. Yeah, I really want to know whether these three things on the side, how you power up. I guess you power.
Okay, so there's 3 different battle bonuses, and we've seen that pretty much every race so far has had access to this.
Every race got it.
These are gained by getting prisoners for the ogres, which you gain prisoners by killing enemy units that are routing or have shattered. It's a tier system too, which is different. It's very different. We've had a stripped down version of that in Warhammer 2 with like the Tomb Kings and obviously the Dark Elves, but this is interesting. The first is Dismember, which is a hex. It reduces the acceleration speed and charge speed of a unit. This is
okay, so Nathan's confirmed that pretty much every Warhammer 3 race has got this power bar on the side that gets powered up, and then you get these 3 abilities ending with like your powerful ulti ability at the top or whatever. But we've seen that they're all done by different things. So Legends Total War showed that the first one was built, this bar was filled up by spending Winds of Magic on spells. Greg says this one's filled up by capturing units in battle. So yeah, I guess that, I wonder if it's the same as the way the captures worked out now. Like the way it is now, like every time you kill a unit, there's like it's like about 15% of the units that you kill get captured or whatever. So I wonder if it's just exactly the same capture mechanic or if they've changed it slightly. The John will probably be interested in that. Scrag's chin wobbling is wonderfully hypnotic. Lol. Bring more spellcasters for more reserves. Yeah, but that's right. But now you can't do that because there's only a cap of 100 anyway. But yeah, but you can still get more heroes that have more Wind of Magic reserve refilling abilities. Which yeah, I'm guessing that Arcane Conduit will still refill reserves. I'd like to see somebody mouse over some Arcane Conduit. Yeah, Scrag didn't have it, did he? That other the Fire Mage didn't have it either, did he? No, I can't see any fire arcane conduit in there. That doesn't mean he hasn't got it, but those are fire spells. Kindle flame, yeah. Rag burner, missile resistance. Nah, so there's no, yeah, so he hasn't got any arcane conduit. So that's interesting because he looks like he's got every spell like maxed out, you know. So you'd think normally like a fire mage for most races maxed out would have arcane conduit. That might just because the ogres don't get it. They have their own like eating people to get more, you know, eating people to get more, what do you call it, winds of magic or whatever. But yeah, it's interesting. Is it there with only 2 uses? What? Arcane conduit? What are you talking about? Arcane conduit, Liz, or something else? Oh, what was it? It was just normal. Just is arcane conduit just normal, or what? Does it refill? Well, I suppose it would refill your reserves the same as it did before, yeah, unless it's changed it. It's really custom battle, that's why they don't have AC. Oh, okay, like multiplayer rules. Yeah, fair, makes sense.
Start a bit of a discussion, but with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our...
Alright, what should we watch next? Another Great Book of Grudges one? It looks like Great Book of Grudges kind of is good for talking about because he just kind of like goes through all of the units and stuff. Might just have a look at the Khorne roster. I haven't really had a look at the recent stuff, if there's any new stuff for Khorne.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan. Just check.
Yeah, is there anything new in the Khorne roster? Bloodletters.
So we find out here exactly how the Hellblade for the Bloodletters is going to work. You'll see here as they do more kills, they'll be able to get a passive ability which increases their base weapon damage and armor-piercing weapon damage.
It said plus 40% power recharge and it's a constant ability now, no effect on reserves. Oh, AC doesn't give you reserves. Okay. Oh, okay. I thought that was so. That's okay. So all the normal races aren't going to just instantly have some like built-in way to get more reserves with their arcane conduit. It's only going to be like unique special abilities or whatever new abilities that we haven't seen before.
Of course, those stats plus 20%, we don't know if they're hotlocked, so it could change in the future. The same goes with how to enable it, which you'll have to get more than 80 kills.
Slaves to darkness.
Warriors of Chaos, Khorne, Halberds. Oh yeah, so yeah, that's right. So they're just general regular Warriors of Chaos, so that's pretty cool. Charge Reflection. Embracing this unit deals extra additional damage when attacking charged enemies. We haven't got Charge Reflection in Warhammer at the moment. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that's interesting. That's new. Okay, so there's been Charge Reflection in other Total War games, but we don't currently have Charge Reflection. So this is different from Charge Defense. Charge Defense negates the charge bonus of the attacker if you're braced, whereas Charge Reflection actually it's like they get charge bonuses versus the charging things that anything that charges them. The only thing is that like it's really hard to use this stuff, because you're wheeling against cavalry because they can just come around from a different direction and, you have to like brace in a different direction and stuff. But it'd be good for like just frontline charges, Hey, Charlie J, welcome. So, yeah, I mean, if you have like a big battle line and you're just charging into the enemy, then these guys are going to get their own charge bonus and they're going to reflect the charge bonus of the guys that are charging to them. So yeah, but I know, but that's sort of weird, like, because they're meant to be anti-cavalry, but that'll work against anti-infantry, but it won't really work on cavalry because cavalry aren't going to charge into them from the front, Cavalry, if they're microed well, the cavalry are going to wheel around the back and get them inside or whatever, so they won't get the braced bonus to that, I would assume. So I don't know it's interesting to wonder how these things are actually going to play out, So those guys don't have that ability that the Bloodletters get, where they get the extra damage once they get a certain number of kills. I wonder if these bad boys will. Shield weapons? Nah. So these are just normal warriors. Trying to work out if they did say that all chaos are kind of elite. They look pretty elite, like their damage is pretty high. All Khorne's rosters is just kind of elite. So they're just going to tend to have small armies, but their army is going to be really strong. Rampage. Fuck. Why leave Rampage to everything? Jesus. They better be cheap as hell. Chaos Minotaurs. We've seen these, but not up close before, so that's pretty cool. What's fear? What's this? Blood Greed. What? Just, I don't know, maybe this just starts ramping up from the start of the battle. Doesn't really explain when it activates or anything. Is it from when they get into melee combat? You'd assume it's when they get into melee combat, but it doesn't say that. What does Blood Greed do? Is it from when they get into melee combat? I don't really play Beastman. Minotaurs look better. Yeah, Minotaurs look pretty cool.
So we're seeing here that the Fleshhounds of Khorne have a very high spell resistance, 50%. Of course that could change, but it's much higher than the Bloodletters that we've seen. This is of course a callback to the tabletop where Fleshhounds were very anti-magic. It's nice to see that here too.
Yeah. So spell resistance is not magic resistance, again, just to reiterate. So if you got a magic attack, so they have a magic attack, right? So they penetrate physical resist. Wow, that thing looks beasty, the Gore-Beast Chariot. I remember when these first came out, I thought they kind of looked a bit stupid, like, just because they're kind of these weird gorilla monsters. Like, these, like, Juggernauts have kind of been in the game since I first got into the hobby, like, you know, 30 years ago or whatever. So I was like well into them. Although they used to have thicker legs, they didn't used to have those. Their legs used to be bigger. Like the legs used to be like the Gore-Beast Chariots originally, big thick things. But yeah, so I'm down with I'm super down with Juggernauts. But I didn't like the Gore-Beast when I first saw them. But I've kind of come around to it now. Yeah, Khorne does look like Khorne. That's, yeah, I've actually come around to them now. I didn't really like all the fire and shit when in that first video. I much prefer this with the like normal grassy background. Skull cannon, yeah, this thing's crazy. It's got high armor, and it's a chariot. It's got a bit of charge bonus. I imagine it's gonna have high mass and just be able to smash through everyone. Oh, it's a single entity, so it's got that single entity problem as well. Replenishes units' health when it's in combat. Yeah, the Khorne units do look pretty awesome, gotta admit. And yeah, and I do like the Bloodletters. Like, yeah, I don't know. I talk a lot about how I don't really like.
I'm not sure if Creative Assembly did state on the roster reveal what exactly the Blood Shrine did in terms of bonuses, so we've got it here. It increases melee attack and leadership, and more or less I'd say that that's pretty much what we're going to get in terms of the bonus. I don't think that's going to change, because +5 and +4 seems quite fair. And yes, I didn't mention the Skull Cannon stuff because that was mentioned in the blog, so there's no point going over that.
Hey Marcus, I don't know if Tzeentch is grossly overpowered. I feel like in that particular battle, it was like Tzeentch had all of their ranged attacking stuff stacked up on like, and then the ogres just ran into their field of fire and got obliterated by like 4 or 5 units at once, you know? This is a Great Book of Grudges video we're watching right now, but we're mainly watching it for the visuals. Okay, so this one's a bit different from the Tzeentch one. He's got a flaming sword. It's pretty cool. Can fire whilst moving. Okay, so they can do a bit of kiting. How fast are they? 75 speed. Yeah, they're pretty fast actually. These soul grinders might actually be pretty kind of cool to use. Hey, they got 40 ammunition, so they're going to last for a while. You kind of like kite around and stuff. Blood Reaper. So we've got sort of 3 different types of these chariot type things. It's another single entity one as well. What was that? So yeah, we know that. We know that. This one. Spell resistance plus 66%. Duration 25 seconds. Okay, so this thing can like smack down a 66% spell resistance within 35-meter range. It's an area of effect spell resistance. So if you've got one of these in your army and they drop a big vortex spell or something, you just like go bleep, and then it just makes you immune to the damage basically. Because you probably already, most of your Khorne units have probably already got like 33% spell resistance. So you just pop this down and then they just don't care. They don't care about spells. I love that's. I was hoping we were going to see stuff like that, like kind of like counter spell technology, you know, so that you can just have this kind of like mage versus anti-mage thing. Okay, so he's got this Hellblade ability. Once you get above 80 kills, they get bonuses to damage. I think that that's more exaggerated on the bigger units, is it? Or is it just the same? Yeah, we've seen that already. Physical resistance. So physical resistance, again, works against physical attacks, but doesn't work against magical attacks. So you can see this unit here does fire and magic. So this physical resistance will do nothing against this magic resistance, and the spell resistance will do nothing against this magic resistance. That's the like fundamental change with the damage in Warhammer 3. Yeah. Bloodthirster. Yeah, I'm liking the units a lot more in this video than I was in the other video. What's this? Oh, can fly, right? Yeah, how cool is that, like, can fly ability? I don't know, it's just, yeah. Oh, wait, what was that? Oh, yeah, that was just the normal, yeah. Zero resistance. So, yeah, it's interesting that all the demons got physical resistance, but they also all do magic damage. Bonus versus large. So the Bloodthirster is, like, particularly good at killing other big monsters. Okay, that was the monster version. This is the Lord version. The Exalted Bloodthirster is the Lord version. Magic is still OP. I don't know. I'm not sure if Magic's going to be that good against Khorne because they're going to have a lot of magic resistance. But Deathbringer. Bellow of Fury. Magic Missile does damage, range, cooldown. Okay. Bellow of Fury is a magic missile with 90-meter range. It's pretty cool. Burning Rage ability. So that's the thing, yeah. So a lot of units now seem to have like built-in abilities that they can use that are spell-like abilities. So that's actually pretty cool. And that's kind of countering that like 100 cap of magic.
So you can go back if you need to, just a few seconds, but it looks like the Exalted Bloodthirster is going to have quite a lot of Lord effects, even some missile damage too. This makes sense as obviously it's a Lord character, but it's got stuff which is specialized and not the generic stuffs.
Looks like well, I don't know. Dwarves might get more get more spell resistance in Warhammer 3. I would sort of hope that dwarves would get more spell resistance in Warhammer 3 because they're losing that magic resistance to melee to magical weapon attacks. So they should get kind of more spell resistance, you would think. But I wouldn't be surprised if they don't necessarily get more spell resistance. But we see a slight change with some of the runic abilities to be a bit more like anti-spell, kind of like this Khorne stuff, like that activatable AoE magic shield that we saw in the other unit.
So yeah, that's pretty cool. The model looks great also.
Yeah, Khorne looks pretty badass. Like 80% of the units have some sort of on-click ability. Yeah, there's a lot of click abilities. Possibly Wrath of Khorne. Explosion damage. Okay, so yeah, so you can just run into an enemy and then just drop that. Cooldown's 15 seconds. What the hell? Oh, wait up. Affected units are casting. How cool is this? So when, like, if an enemy's casting, then you can cast this on them and then it does like 256 AP damage on them. Interesting. So that is 256 AP doesn't sound like much against a single entity, so like a wizard. But maybe if there's like units that are casting, like, you know, because like some of these activated abilities might have a casting time and that counts as casting. So if there's like I don't know, like a unit of Cathayan wizard dudes or something. Oh, there's not really Cathay. I don't know, whatever. You know, like some sort of unit that casts a spell that has a bound spell. Maybe you could use that on them and just delete them. This is normal unit scale, so it'd be more an ultra. Okay. Oh, does that mean that some of these, so these chariots that are single entities are going to be 4 units on Ultra, and then they won't have their single entity thing? Actually, I wondered about that. Like, if you play on normal or small, and you have like single cannons and single chariots in your chariot units, do they then go by the single entity rule sets? I'd never actually tried that out, but yeah, I guess they must. Check out serious trivia. Okay, well, yeah, we'll check out the rest of this video first. Oh, so this is, so he had Wrath of Khorne, and then you also get an like unlimited range Wrath of Khorne in here. Oh no, Horn of Khorne, different ability, sorry. So melee attack plus 24 for just the local area wherever you cast it. Entities cannot die while it's active. Cool. Duration 20 seconds. But the thing is, like, that only works, that's only good if you've got some sort of regeneration ability, and I haven't seen anything that gives health back to anyone yet. You know what I mean? Like, if you had something like that on Nurgle, it'd be cool. Oh, I suppose it's still pretty cool. Like, you know, like a multiplayer situation or something like that. I can imagine, like, you've got your last unit, and then they've got their last unit, and you cast that, and then your last unit, like, kills their unit and doesn't break, fights to the last man, even though they're all, well, yeah, their last, like, 10 guys just, like, carve through their last unit, and they can't die and stuff. Yeah, it'd be pretty cool. Pretty clutch kind of ability.
And we have the battle mechanic for Khorne known as Blood for the Blood God. Surprise, surprise. And it seems that it points up as you kill enemy units. Each entity, it seems, actually. So single entities will not give you so much, but you will get a lot more from, say, a horde of Skaven slaves. It makes a lot of sense, this is very thematic, and it sounds pretty cool. The first bonus is Horn of Khorne, which is an area effect augment that increases melee attack power. Always change. Yeah, but interestingly enough, does not actually say how big of an area it is. The bonus conveyed is unbreakable, its duration is 20 seconds, and the cooldown is 90 seconds. Entities cannot die while ability is active.
And it's a single unit.
Might be map-wide.
Yeah, it says here, this, well, it doesn't say, yeah, I don't know. I assume it's a single unit, but yeah, it could be map-wide. I don't think it'd be pretty overpowered if it was map-wide, but...
Previous video where... and is a radius of
Blade of Khorne, 20-meter radius, huge explosion area. Okay, so you can just drop everything and just kill everything inside the area. Does 72 damage. That's enough to one-shot kill a lot of infantry, or like 90% kill them if they've got a bit of armor and stuff, maybe.
20 meters, which is...
There are hotkeys for... Oh, you can overcast these as well? That'd be crazy.
Isn't too bad. Then...
Was there any units that we didn't look at? No, I guess we looked at everything. But yeah, is that like pretty much the entire roster? Like, I know they've got a hero. They've got 2 heroes that aren't shown here. There's another type of Chaos Knights with shields, I'm pretty sure. Or is there? Do they have Chaos Knights with shields, or do they not? I kind of thought I remember they had Chaos Shields. And they've got Chaos Knights with great weapons, I'm pretty sure, as well, right? So maybe there's 4 units of Chaos Warriors. I feel like there should be some elite Chaos Warriors as well, like Berserkers or Chosen or something like that. Maybe they haven't designed them yet or something.
all the units that we'll be able to play with soon enough. I'm quite excited, and it's gonna look quite fun. I still quite like the idea of Khorne. We're gonna look at the others soon enough, and yeah, it's just gonna be a long day, guys. Let me know what you guys think about the Khorne stuff. There's not a lot to show off here, but it's always best to show off some stuff. I know some people are more interested in seeing the units up close than actually seeing the battles, so yeah. But with that, my friends,
yeah, I'm a bit like that. You know what I mean?
Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video,
well, I know, unless somebody's got a better suggestion, I might actually just watch another one of Great Bridges once, because he seems to be doing a good job of just showing us all the stuff. Should we do Cathay? I think I saw somebody yell out about Cathay earlier. Yeah, I don't know now. I'm like, ogres are cool. Like the ogre camper mechanic.
Welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name.
Like the ogre camp mechanic on the campaign map, like I'm super excited about, but I'm not really as excited about the ogre battle mechanics, you know. Whereas those Khorne warriors, they just look sexy AF. You know, I'm super pumped about chaos like not sucking anymore. Warriors of Chaos I really want to use. So yeah. Anyway.
Release. So do not take anything you see on screen. New with Jade Warriors formation attack. I believe this is new because I don't think we've seen it anywhere. The unit will try to stay in formation when in melee, meaning that it won't break formation. I guess it's because the whole Cathay being extremely disciplined thing, and I'm curious to see how it's actually going to work. I'm assuming this way, if you're fighting in, say for example, a small choke point, it's not going to throw all its units into an enemy, it's just going to stay.
This is really interesting, this formation attack, because we've seen formation attack, of course, in previous, like in, I think it was in Rome 2, Attila, I think, had it as well, didn't it? Yeah, like formation attacks a thing that's been, and this is like a thing you see over and over with Warhammer, where they don't put all the mechanics in at first, but then they introduce those mechanics from other games as unique abilities for different factions. But as soon as it's in the game for anybody, that means it's kind of open season, so anyone could get it, you know, like, so, you know, so these guys might get formation attack now, but then, you know, we might get like, the Imperial Foot, which is like dismounted Reichsguard, you know, that'll be super disciplined or something. Maybe they could get formation attack, or, you know, Ironbreakers could get formation, whatever. Some, maybe not, but, you know, it's just some other faction that seems appropriate. Once you've got it in the game, then you can give it to other people, you know. So yeah, so that's really exciting. Although formation attack is one of those things that may not work properly and be all derpy and stuff like that, you know. So, you know, we'll see how it goes. Defensive stance. Charge resistance plus 1, charge resistance plus 25. If enabled, if not moving. Okay, cool. So they've got like an extra good, like, so normally, so they'll brace first and then they'll get their extra charge resistance from bracing. And then additionally to that, after 10 seconds, they get plus 10 charge resistance. And then for the first 10 seconds they get that. Then after 10 seconds they get phase 2, which is extra 10 armor and stuff. So that's kind of interesting. Good for making just an iron hard wall of dudes. Oh yeah, this is just the yin and yang bonus. It's pretty cool.
To Battle Harmony Yang, which increases leadership and melee defense. Increases yin unit with, and obviously
these just guys just the same, basically just halberds version. They got charge reflection again, so yeah, okay, so spears and halberds and all that are gonna have charge reflection now. I thought that they got rid of that because it was a bit too janky, and I'm a bit like, I don't know. I don't know what to think about charge reflection, because I feel like with the problem that we had before was melee cav like being shit, 1, and 2, like, you know, getting killed too easily by melee infantry. And now we're going to have like, just like, I feel like we have to see what the balance plays out like, but it looks to me like, okay, now spears and halberds are basically just going to be like indestructible death machines for cavalry, you know, that you don't want to go anywhere near, which is kind of cool, I guess. I don't know, but it's sort of, I wonder what they're going to give to cavalry to make up for it, basically, is what I'm saying. Like, I don't have a problem with halberds and spears being, you know, indestructible death machines for cavalry if they get charged from the front. That seems pretty appropriate. But if my cav get to charge them in the back, or my cav get to some archers, then I want to see them destroy that shit, you know? So yeah, I don't know, we'll see. Well, these guys, same stuff? Yeah, just same stuff. Celestial Dragon, these guys are slightly more elite version, I believe. They don't seem to have any other special abilities that the Jade Warriors didn't have. Just got a better stats, I guess. And those guys are ranged, so they're Yang, Peasant Archers, so these guys will be really cheap.
See Battle Harmony Yin, which increases reload skill and leadership. And
reload skill up to 24. It's pretty freaking high. You can still burn through your ammo pretty fast though, I guess. They're pretty It's only 35-meter range. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So it's sort of it's a small. It's kind of like the. Actually it's a bit smaller even than the engineers. Than the engineers buff is like 40 meters, isn't it? So yeah, it's about the same. But yeah, I like. I wonder if these, you know, I sort of see this. I think, oh, Legend of Total War Peasant Archer meta or something. You know what I mean? Like these guys the new Goblin Archers that you can buff the hell out of and make them make them super powerful.
Works in the same way as so they have to be within 35 meters of each other. You have to have them close. So a yin unit has to be close to a yang unit.
Yeah. Also, just on a separate like on a separate like role-playing side, like I love infantry. I love all little dudes. Like I love the rank and file. Like I love crappy unshielded Empire spearmen and stuff. They're just the rank and file of the Empire, you know. And I love these guys. I'm just having like thousands of these dudes, but they're all like individual little dudes from your villages and stuff that have come to war. It's pretty cool. Jade Warrior crossbowmen, just the same stuff. They're crossbows, but they've got armor. Train gunners, they've got they got shield breaking, I think. It's that blue icon. Chessboard formation. Checkerboard with the front line of halberds, or shielded swordsmen or something like that. Rocket battery. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Cannons. Terracotta Sentinels. Yeah, single entity, unbreakable. Yeah, it's all good. 12,000 health is a lot. That's a lot of health. And with the 100 armor as well, so they're pretty, you know, they don't have any missile resistance or physical resistance, but yeah, still against non-AP damage, they'll be pretty good. They're pretty fast as well, 48 speed. They're fast-ish. They're just normal sort of giant speed, I guess, aren't they? Oh wait, how's that a giant terracotta warrior? What about this guy over here? I think that's a bit whack actually, that they have this scale differential going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like these guys are meant to be humongous. And then what the hell's going on here? It's like Mount Rushmore fucking Sentinel on the left here, you know? Like that's a bit weird. It's a bit of a weird artistic choice. But I guess you wouldn't notice them if they were not big like that. Do Cathay have their own gelt for rocket batteries? Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that reload rate is known, Andrew Tobias. I mean, I don't personally know it, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's known. I remember watching stuff about it before and have people explain it, and I didn't quite absorb. I figured I didn't really need to know too much about it. I just know no more reload the faster you shoot until you reach the cap, I guess. But yeah, I'm guessing it would be useful to know it in a bit more detail. Oh yeah, did this thing have any special abilities that were interesting? Oh, bombs, right. This is the Sky Junks. This is the Sky Junk's the bigger one, is that right? The balloon's the smaller one, the Sky Junk's the bigger one, I think. It's got 10,000 HP. It's got a bomb, 3 uses. Looks like pretty strong explosive and range damage. Oh wait, what's the... Oh, yeah. Always flying, cannot land. Yeah, so that's always flying, as opposed to the other ones had the can fly ability, so that means that they can possibly land. Well, we know that they can land to attack, but yeah, I don't know. We still don't know whether they're going to have a toggleable button or not. They didn't show any toggleable landing button, but we don't know for sure if they're taking that. Oh, forest spotting plus 100. So these guys are good at forest spotting. Yeah, it's interesting how the yin and yang works with these guys. So these guys can stand over the top of the sentinel and get the bonus because they'll be in range. You know, so that's kind of interesting. Yeah, single entity Doomstacks versus Khorne might be the way to go because they won't be able to get any kills. Yeah, good call, Talon. We'll get my like full warrior priest stack led by Voltmar. We'll go into the realm of chaos and smack up some chaos warriors.
My elixirs are ready.
All the models look pretty cool, don't they? There's always this like I've got the battle, like I love the battles, love the strategy. There's also this other little aspect of having all my little like soldier dollies and like lining them up and making them look really cool. whether they be bloodthirsty Khorne soldier dollies or they be sorceress Cathay and sorceress alchemists dollies. Sorry, that's probably those things you shouldn't share, isn't it? TMI. Yeah, there she is, Miao Yang. Oh yeah, does she have any... We might have... Actually, I should have looked at the first caster. Did the Alchemist have any, like, winds stuff? That was what I was mainly interested in looking at. I was sort of vagued out. Yeah, so it's armor. So is the Alchemist like a spell user or not really? Yeah, so I got Laura Metal Bombardment. And it uses 6 winds of magic, so it's not like a bounce spell. 4 winds of magic, 8 winds of magic. Road transformation, yeah. So basically just a metal caster. When more than one unit shares this attribute in the same army, the power of spells cast is increased. Yeah, cool. Okay, so no, nothing that gives her wins back. Flesh to Stone gives physical resistance to armor. Okay, that's pretty good.
Mistress of Storms.
So yeah, I wonder if she's gonna have anything that gives her magic reserves in battle. Alright, Law of Life, Earthblood. No, we know that one. An oldie but a goodie. Speed reduction 200 meters. 200 meters is pretty good range. Flesh to Stone, yeah. Physical resistance. Oh yeah, Flesh to Stone used to be crap because it used to be armor, yeah. 60%. How long does it last for? It's only 19 seconds, but that's non-overcasted. It might be longer when it's overcasted. Missile Mirror, so this is the thing that we said that it reflects back. Affected units, missile unit, yeah. So you just target this on one single unit and it reflects their weapon, their damage back. It's kind of, yeah, it's a bit crap because it's like 10 winds of magic, really, just to reflect the unit like damage back on themselves, and the unit can just stop shooting and then they won't take any damage. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, yeah, it seems like it'll be a single player only thing, you know, unless if you can trick somebody. Like, you wouldn't even take it in multiplayer, but if you could trick someone into using it, they'd kill themselves. But I don't know, it seems a bit, yeah, I'll have to see how that balances. Hey Logic, how you going, my man? Have you checked out all this stuff? Regrowth, we know about. Talents of the Night, Vortex. Yeah, I'm just wanting to see if she's got anything that gives her a replenish. Hey, thanks for subscribing, whoever that was. So I didn't see that. I should probably put my alerts up so I can actually see them.
So this is one thing I wanted to talk about. Mastery of Elemental Winds. When more than one of the same army farm this lords are powerful.
Sorry if anyone wants to listen to that. I think we already kind of did it. Yeah, so Arcane Conduit is just a passive now. It's not a usable ability. It just gives you power recharge. Doesn't give you any reserves. So that's not how we're going to get our reserves. I had wondered if maybe that was, but it's not. And she actually doesn't have anything else. You seen Milk and Cookies breakdown? Ah, really?
I embody the Emperor's will. Serve me and serve him. We shall reward
Nice on Angel Tobias. I loved it. Energy Bus has done some calculations, and Earth Blood is actually worse than 1.2 version if your unit has less than 6,000 max HP, but better for over that. Well, that's alright then. I mean, well, not most, but some of your infantry units would have more than 6,000 HP, I imagine. Maybe most. What are your thoughts on all this? I don't know. We're just kind of watching through it all. I haven't really had a chance to kind of reflect on it yet or anything. Khorne looks really cool. Like the units, I really like the look of the units in Khorne. I didn't really like, when I first saw them, I didn't like them because there was too much like fire. There's too much like fire going on. What the hell's that? What the hell's that? There's a ladder icon showing up in the corner of the screen. What's he mousing over when that happens? Where's the cursor? That's over here. There. Where'd the cursor go to? Oh, I don't know where the cursor went. Ass ladder's ready for deployment. It's the AI. Yeah, I don't know. What is that? What is that? What's going on?
There's not too much to talk about here, but we've been able to see the units up close, which I'd say is pretty
Maybe
cool.
it's them breaching the walls, yeah.
I like the look.
Oh, it's on the map. Okay. Oh, right, over up here in the right-hand corner here, you can see that they're about to come through the walls or whatever. That's cool. So so they've just got the game running, like they've got the enemies like running live, attacking while they're doing all this. There's you can see the enemies coming in here, and then that's the breach.
There's not too much to talk about here, but we've been able to see the units up close, which I'd say is pretty cool. And I like the look of Cathay and units; they look fun. But what do you guys think, especially now that we've been able to see some attributes in game, and well, pretty much just look at some of the units again, not full roster, but we all know this. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and let's start.
Yeah, I kind of like Cathay. I feel like Cathay's sort of like going to give me the same feels as like the Empire.
If you did enjoy the video, I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribe.
Has Half-Life magic, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element.
The icon alert, the alert icon's clickable. Okay, that's pretty cool. So you can just go zoom to the location. Was there any more of these ones? No. Tzeentch Rust. Oh, here we go. Closer look at the Tzeentch. May as well watch the full series.
Calling it the as before, it's just going to play the video and we're going to stop at... Let's not waste any more time and jump right in.
So is this supposed to be every single unit they've got? Or not necessarily? Blue horrors look pretty cool. They got a fair bit of HP. 160 in the unit. So they're like goblin spearmen without shields or spears. Yeah, pink horrors are like your regular infantry, but cheap, crap infantry, I guess. Oh no, they're archers, aren't they? Yeah, sorry, pink horrors are your archers. What's their range? 130, short range. 20 ammunition, normal. Exalted pink horrors. What's this pink ability? Arcane Mirth. Power recharge. Okay. So if you have a lot of them, you're gonna have super fast recharge. Crap infantry with force fields,
yeah. Go back to some tabletop mechanics where you would be able to get more winds of magic if you brought loads of pink horror units. It's regulated here to the exalted pink horrors, but it makes a lot of sense. So long as they're not in melee, you'll be able to get augmented winds of magic, which, well, yeah, their range, you're going to be able to keep them afar.
I still feel like it's not really about the it's not really about the regen, it's about the reserves, you know, it's about that 100 cap. They're just, to my mind, I don't know how it's going to actually play out, but yeah. Hide them all and spam magic. Well, they're ranged, so you can just kite and spam magic. They just have to be out of melee. They can still be shooting. So you just want to like kite the enemies and keep them shooting. These look a lot better with the dark colors. Like, how is like really bright? Like, it was really bright in some of the previous artwork, and it looked really kind of shit to me. Whereas this, like, darker colors like this is looking pretty cool. look a bit more evil. Are these like, are the Forsaken of Tzeentch any like more badass than normal Forsaken? Or are they pretty much just exactly the same? Do the pink horrors have the ability to split into 2 blue horrors? No. How cool would that be? Like, I think they just couldn't do it because you'd have to have them changing within the unit. Like, as one pink horror died, it would have to change into 2 blue horrors within a unit of pink horrors. So you'd have like 99 pink horrors and 2 blue horrors, and the engine just wouldn't be able to cope with that, like, at all, you know? The only thing you could do is like replace the whole unit of pink horrors with a whole unit of blue horrors once they got below a certain amount of health. But yeah, I guess it would just wouldn't make sense. It'd be kind of stupid and stuff. But yeah, I don't think it's because it's too overpowered. I think it's just mechanically super difficult. Like they can't do it basically. And the only way they'd be able to implement it would be really lame and wouldn't be very good anyway. So I think it's a good choice for them just to skip that. Even though it would be really cool to see them split, but yeah, no, it's just too much outside the realms of the technology. Flames of Tzeentch, range 90, but huge missile strength, huge missile damage. How's their missile strength 338? So like, what? I guess there's only 12 of them, so they're kind of like a... Actually, yeah, there's no other monstrous infantry ranged units in the game, is there? Can't think of any. There's like the bone giants that are like giants, but they're not like, there's no like monstrous infantry sized like 12 units type things. Oh no, there is. Sorry, there's the man-eater ogres, I guess. Exalted Flame is 1.5k. Yeah. Oh, Stabti bows. Yeah. Sorry, there's a few different ones. Actually, I'm totally wrong. Oh, what's this? What's that? That's like special Tzeentch fire or something? What's that? That icon ability? I didn't read it. Love the Tzeentch battle mate. Yeah. So this is in the lands of Tzeentch. It's pretty cool. Exalted Flamer, yeah. Oh yeah, so the Exalted Flamer is it's not a lord, it's just a single entity monster, right? So what are the lords? The lord choices are Exalted Herald and Exalted Greater Demon of Tzeentch, right? Oh, these spawn don't have Rampage. Oh, okay, so it's just Chaos it's just Khorne that has the shit ones. That's kind of sucks that the Khorne spawns are kind of useless because they've got Rampage and everyone else's ones aren't. Yeah, I hope we get to see some more like Khorne. I don't know, just stuff that gives them more troops or gives. I don't know. I don't know how we're going to handle the whole Khorne kind of dying all the time thing. Chaos Spawn looks like, yeah, they look really cool. I hope that they're usable in some way, or you know, there's something good about them. Currently the only thing they've got that's special is that they're unbreakable. Oh, they've got Sunder armor. They don't have Sunder armor in Warhammer 2, do they? Hey, Mr. Adrian, I have a request. Can you cut video when you represent Tzeentch units and battle and put it on YouTube, please? Hey, Mr. Adrian, I don't like if you mean now. I'm not gonna. I don't have time, man. I got to go to work after this. But there's heaps of other, like, you can watch this video. So right now we're watching video on Great Book of Grudges channel. Nathan's a great dude, and he's got an awesome channel. So here's a link to Nathan's channel. So anyone who's having trouble navigating there or whatever, you can go and check out all of the Tzeentch units. But if you mean when I get early access in February or whatever, then yeah, I'll make as much content as I can for sure. But yeah, I don't have time to cut out any videos today, and even if I did, like, I don't think I'd be able to add any value on top of what Nathan's done. Like, Nathan seems to have covered this stuff pretty thoroughly. So yeah, I'm not sure why you would want me to cover it. Like, this, Nathan's got it covered here. Just check out his video. That's pretty fine, isn't it? Yeah, if there's something else that you want me to explain or something, I'm happy to. I think the light just looks better. Like everything looks better in this map than the previous maps. Thought you were live showing them. Thanks to the. Oh no, sorry, Adrian. No, so what's happened is no one's been able to is playing the game or anything like that. Creative Assemblies just gave out the footage to everybody already pre-recorded, and then everybody's made their own videos commenting on the footage that Creative Assemblies provided. So yeah, so there's no other angles or anything. Like it's just the set footage plays, and then you can just put your own voiceover over the top. So basically all I could do is like re-upload Great Book Grudge's video with his voice taken out and put my own voice over the top or something like that, you know what I mean? So I wouldn't be able to do anything like add any value or anything. So but yeah, these guys look fucking awesome. These are my favorite unit so far of Tzeentch. I thought we saw some chosen. Actually, we've got knights on horses now too. Hey. Oh no, I didn't show them yet. And fly, 100 armor, silver shields. Oh, so these are Doom Knights of Tzeentch. So are Doom Knights Chaos Warrior, like Chaos Knights tier, or are they sort of chosen tier? Nah, they're Chaos Warrior tier, yeah, because look at their melee attack and melee defense. They're kind of Chaos Warrior tier. And there's only 24 in unit, so that's cool. They're small unit. Oh wait, this is on me. This is on like normal size, isn't it? Instead of extra large or whatever. These knights look pretty cool. Yeah, I love this darker look. This looks so much better than the weird pastel look that they had before. Yeah, it looks cool. Oh, this one doesn't have fire on the move. Oh, that's interesting. So the Khorne Soul Grinder had fire on the move, and it can like kite around and like shoot you, you know. Whereas this one doesn't have fire on the move, so you can only just stand still. But it's got really long range. This one's like a long range, like artillery piece, I guess. Whereas the Khorne one's more like a close range melee / skirmisher. Cultist of Tzeentch. Oh yeah, what does the Power Stone do? Power Stone, power recharge, reserves per second. Ah, nice. So the Power Stone actually gives you reserves. Plus 0.1 per second, 31 seconds. So you only get 3 reserves. Is that right? 3.1 reserves. Yeah, and it's only 1 use. Okay. I suppose if you had like 20 of them in a stack, you could get 60 reserves. That'd get you from 100 up to 63 or whatever, 62 or whatever. I think this is Ultra. I remember seeing a giant with 12k HP, and that's exactly what it is in currently 1 and 2. Oh, okay. Somebody else said it was normal before or something. Yeah, because it's about 3,600, 3,700 HP. That seems about right for a caster hero. Especially if they're a bit weaker. Has anyone noticed do the Tzeentch units have slightly lower HP because of the energy shields? Like you'd kind of expect them to be a little bit more fragile underneath the energy shield. Anyone else thinking about doing some Thousand Suns roleplay with their Chaos Knights? Get some 40k Thousand Suns roleplay. Make some like rubric knights and stuff. I love Chaos Warriors, and I don't really like demons that much. I just want to make like whole armies of like mortals, like maybe with a few centerpiece, like basically all Chaos Warriors with maybe half Chaos Warriors, half Forsaken, a few like knights and disc riders, and then maybe just a couple of centerpieces like maybe the Soul Grinder and a couple of demons or something like that. You know, that'd be like my ideal like thematic army. Speedy Boys 105 on the disc riders. 78s. This is kind of a heavy horse. Oh wait, how come it's only got 15 armor and he's riding on a Chaos Steed that looks heavily armored? Okay, that's interesting. So is there a more heavily armored steed, or is that like as armored as it gets? Iridescent Horror. Okay, so these guys are a unit, single entity unit, right? They're not a hero, are they? Or are they? Oh, no, they are here, aren't they? Yeah. I wonder if they have to be mounted or not. Oh, yeah, sorry, does anyone notice any other abilities that give magic reserves? I wasn't paying attention. Oh. What does the gate Tzeentch do? It was on the cultists. Oh, the gate is a damage ability. Gate of Tzeentch. Oh, no, it's not. It says summons unit of pink horrors. I thought there was some sort of portal or gate thing that did damage that you could do. But yeah, summons unit of pink horrors. There you go. And the rest is all just fire stuff. Can you get different cultists? So I'm guessing you can get cultists with different laws, you know, so you get a fire cultist or a metal cultist or whatever. Yeah, iridescent horror. Need another coffee in a second. Infernal Gateway, that's the one I was thinking of. Huge stationary area of effect. It's like a big vortex that does heaps of damage to everything. Yeah, so that's different. Not, yeah. So yeah, Infernal Gateway is different from the Gate of Tzeentch. My bad. Oh, they can fire west moving as well, so that's cool. Lord of Change. This is the monster, single entity monster unit Lord of Change. But it can cast spells. And it uses your winds of magic.
Okay, this is very curious. So, the Lord of Change itself, the monster unit, not the Lord, will also have access to spells, but they won't be bound spells. So, they have access to 2 spells. I believe there was technology which then gave you more, but you had to use it from your normal Winds of Magic pool, which, yeah, kind of makes sense, or else it would be kind of broken, and I'm assuming that's why you need to bring more pink horrors so you can get more Winds of Magic.
Yes, that's the weird thing, though, because, like, Khorne has more bound spells, right? So, it's almost like, because Tzeentch is limited by their power reserves, whereas Khorne's like got all these bound spells that don't use any magic, so Khorne can potentially cast more spells, you know, even though they're not technically spells, but you know what I mean. I wonder if there's going to be a bit of that sort of stuff. Total Warhammer 3 is looking pretty sharp. Yeah, looking pretty good. Tzeentch only has access to 3 laws, not counting Kairos. Really? What about the there's Kairos Fate Weaver, so we saw his tree, he's got some like special stuff that lets him get access to all different laws and magic. I'm just trying to get to the Lord.
Is the Eye of Tzeentch, which you gain points, they point free. Keep in mind 20 seconds of armor will to break. That's the end of our video. Thank you.
Wasn't there should be like an exalted Lord of Change, like a Lord level Lord of Change. They didn't show the normal Lord. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure what the normal Lord gets. The normal Lord gets Metal, Fire, and Tzeentch. Okay, cool. Yeah, they didn't show it in that one, but yeah. Fire, Metal, and Lord of Tzeentch. Okay, that makes sense. I kind of feel like they should have all, like, you should kind of have access to all of them, but I don't know. I hope they have Acold Hellblast as one of the human lord. He's pretty cool. He's a champion of Tzeentch, and wherever he goes, he just heals everything around him. He's got like a healing aura, but he heals both friend and foe, so he can be like cutting down enemies, and then they can be coming back to life and stuff. And there's like grass and flowers and butterflies and shit grow everywhere where he goes. And yeah, so he's like, he had other abilities as well, but one of his little quirks was that he's got like this aura of life that just heals everything around him. It's pretty cool. But yeah, so, and he's a Tzeentch Lord. I hope they just have, I hope they end up doing like 3 lords for each of the Chaos Gods. So the one they've got now plus 2 extra ones. Because there's definitely like lots of cool characters in the Chaos lore, and I feel like you need to have a few different characters to really show the breadth of how much like crazy shit that you could have for Chaos, like, because some of the Chaos characters have got some really crazy, abilities and things. If I recall correctly, that Aurora was more effective on himself, right? Oh, I don't know. I never played anyone tabletop. I had the miniature, but I just let it look. Yeah, I just bought the miniature, but I was trying to collect the Chaos Warriors army, but I never really got to play it. I don't think. Yes, some Warhammer 3 gameplay. Yeah, there was, if you go to the start of the video, well, actually, if you go check out Legend of Total War's channel, he's got a video that shows a whole battle between ogres and Tzeentch. Oh, well, all of the partner creators will have it. But yeah, we watched a bit of Legends one earlier with his commentary. We'll go back and watch the rest of his commentary in a minute. Yeah, I think we've done this pretty much. Hot and spicy Ogre Kingdoms footage from Oko. Oko is funny. All right, we'll go back and watch the Legends, the rest of Legends commentary now while we think of what our next move.
It'll just be brain farting the entire time.
Brain farting? I can't
having
remember.
watched how they perform, I can get a sort of idea of which units that I would like to use and which ones I probably won't like to use. So going over them, Kairos seems good. The Fire Wizard there didn't seem to be particularly useful. Fire Magic is really good, but this guy being on foot is a bit of a problem, whereas this one here, because it's flying around, that's super useful. And the Lure of Tzeentch seems fine. You just gotta cast your spells a bit better. Soul Grinder seems okay. It's got a missile attack. Jury's still out on that one. I need some more time to really judge them. I actually really like the...
okay, Marcos, thanks.
I can't actually hover over them because I don't have gameplay here. I mean, I do have gameplay, I don't have the game to look over. But the Doom Knights of Tzeentch, I like them because they're not like the regular Knights. Because they're on flying units. They're essentially like Pegasus Knights, and they're quite fast as well. Now, another thing I noticed in that battle, and you might have heard it, is that when they were clicked, they said Chaos Undivided. But they're not in Chaos Undivided at all. They should be absolutely saying Knights of Tzeentch or something like that, right? Now, what I imagine that's because we got to keep in mind that this
here we go.
Still under
Legend theories.
You will see in one of the corners there, it does say under development, still in development, right? But because I'm in such a trolly mood, Creative Assembly, they didn't do that for us. Like the raw video file didn't have it, but they asked us to put under development there. So because I'm such a cheeky smart ass, I flipped it because. Why not? It doesn't matter. I just want to make that point that, of course, the game is still under development. This is not the final build. The YouTubers do not have early access yet. But yeah, I'm a cheeky bugger. Because, might as well have some fun with it if I can't bloody play it.
What was the theory? You didn't tell us the theory.
In terms of, like, how regular spells function, it seems if you're familiar with Magic in Warhammer 2, you'll be familiar with it in Warhammer 3. It's just getting to know the new spells, I suppose, and getting to know Kairos Fate Weaver's various fragments that he can get.
Trolling is coming.
Other units that I was pretty impressed with.
He's watching Legend, watch Mercy.
The Chaos Spawn. I've never been happy with them. Didn't think these guys here did a very good job. You see, they got deleted really quickly. I thought the Horrors were good. The Flamers were good. The Forsaken seemed to do okay, but this is on normal battle difficulty. But Creative Assembly did say they were going to reduce the cheats.
I noticed the energy shields are very weak. I noticed the energy shields are very weak. Whenever you see any unit taking damage on the energy shield, it goes down like super fast. So it's not like the energy shield's like a massive impenetrable shield or something. It's just a little top off type of thing. And as soon as you get into combat, the shield just gets broken like within a few seconds. But yeah, if you just kind of like cycle charging with Cav or whatever, you could get super good amount of use out of it. Like you might charge, like if you just say, just to like, I don't know, just like arbitrary numbers, but just say you charge in and you would normally take 10 damage. you'll charge in and like 8 of the damage will be absorbed by the energy shield, and you'll just be starting to take some health damage. You'll see you only take like 2 damage, and then you pull out, you get your energy shield back again, you charge in again when you normally take another 8-10 damage, but the first 8 will get chewed by the energy shield, so you only take another 2 damage. So you know what I mean, you could cycle charge heaps longer and better. So yeah, I can definitely see it being good for that sort of stuff. I don't see it being very useful for infantry though, like, because once you're engaged, you know, it's all over. You know, it's just basically a few extra hit points that are going to be gone, and then you're never going to get them back. I don't know. I mean, it could be good if you could get some like super tanky infantry or something like that. But that's the thing. They're not going to get any super tanky infantry, I don't think. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if they get. It'd be interesting to see if they get some shielded Chaos Warriors, because at the moment we've only seen the Forsaken infantry. Actually, I think somebody told me that we've seen Chosen, but I don't remember. I don't know if I remember. No, I think I do remember actually. Yeah, they had swords, didn't they? They had like swords and shields instead of axes. So maybe if the Chosen have got like super good melee defense, and then you buff them with redline melee defense, and you know, blah blah blah, and then they kind of go into melee, and they just like don't take much damage because they're so beefy in defense. Then the energy shield could kind of, you know what I mean? They could kind of pay off more then.
On very hard battle difficulty, so we'll see how that goes. Now, in terms of like the meta for how Tzeentch I think is going to play, I don't think that going ranged heavy is actually going to be the way to go. I think that going speed heavy or spellcaster heavy is kind of going to be the way to go, because if you're going to go with like even just a few of the iridescent horrors and the Doom Knights, right? You just avoid combat as much as possible, or just do hit and runs, and just keep spellcasting. Just avoid them as much as you can, and just keep popping down this massive spell there, and just get the army losses. And then if you don't get the army losses after using all your magic, well then the Doom Knights, they're decent fighters, so they'll go in and just mop things up. But yeah, speedy flying faction, and
I don't really understand why he's saying that. Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that. I don't really understand why he's saying that, because like he's used, like you can see in the thing here, like I can't remember now, used all these abilities one time, not Ledger, but whoever's playing the battle. They used all these side abilities one time, right? And now they've got no reserves left. So they're not going to be casting any more spells. Like maybe they'll have enough for like one more spell, but they're not going to fill this bar up again. So do you know what I mean? Like, how's that meta gonna, you know? And the iridescent horrors, I think we said that they only increase the recharge rate, they don't do anything for your reserves. So, you know what I mean? Like, all the spells we saw cast in this, that's how much spells you get. They run out, and then you got no spells left, you know? Yeah, I mean, there's probably going to be some like draining spells you can cast on enemies or something. I think I saw one like that. Was that Tzeentch or Slaanesh? Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm misremembering. But anyway, whatever. You know, like maybe there's going to be some mechanics to get a bit more. But like even the Ogre stuff that gave you back reserves, it was pretty slow as far as I recall. We could go back and have another look at it, but it wasn't like you're going to have reserves just flooding in or anything, you know. So yeah, I still don't really understand how you're going to spam magic, you know? You can spam magic at the start of the battle and like blow up a fair bit of stuff and like get a good advantage there, but I don't really see how you're going to do it like you do in Warhammer 2, where you just, you know, spam magic until you've deleted their entire army, you know? I don't really know how that's going to be doable in this so far. I mean, yeah, I'm not saying that you can't, I'm just saying I don't really understand how that would work.
Have them heal, and I don't think there's any limit to how much, how often the unit can regenerate their force field. And another thing is that I don't think the force field is affected by how many units in the unit have actually died. So if you've still...
Oh, that's pretty cool. So you could have like, you know, a force field on a unit of 160 dudes or whatever, and then there's only 3 of them left, but they've still got the full 160 dude force field left. So that's really interesting actually, because as I was saying, you're seeing as soon as a melee unit gets in, you see the force field just get stripped off instantly, right? But that if there was only like, you know, just say you had some unbreakable whatever, and they only had like 5 entities left or whatever, then those 5 entities can only take a certain amount of damage because you can't get that many units into base-to-base contact with them, right? So that means that they're still gonna have that large energy shield, but you aren't gonna be able to take it off as fast because there aren't as many units to hit. So yeah, that could be interesting. If you can get like Unbreakable could be actually really cool on Tzeentch, because you could maybe like, you know, use them like a zombie kind of thing. Once they get down to the last few units, that might be quite hard to kill that last couple of dudes.
Got one troop left, it'll still get its full force field regen, which is kind of actually very powerful, especially in really difficult fights. So I can see a lot of utility with Tzeentch. As for the missile units, I imagine in the early game that's probably what you want to go for. Lots of horrors. The horrors do seem very good. Yeah, just a mix of horrors and single entities to goof the.
Yeah, Storm of Magic, but Storm of Magic only happens in the Chaos Realms. It's a special battle type that only happens in the Chaos Realms. It's not like a normal type of battle. So yeah, Storm of Magic is like a special case, I think. Like, I would imagine maybe with Storm of Magic, you're going to see like just spell spamming going crazy like the whole time. But I don't think that's going to be like normal in the rest of the, you know, 90% of the Mortal Empires map or whatever. But yeah, good point. Nice things.
The enemy around and try to get as many of these abilities off as possible. But yeah, Tzeentch's roster seems good. Now we can also see as well some of how the ogres perform, which wasn't very good. You know, from the Tzeentch side, it wasn't exactly tactical brilliance, nor was it trying to be. Trying to showcase as much as possible, but the AI didn't do a very good job at all. There was still a lot of units left over at the end of the battle, and I think the ogres are really going to struggle with most of their best units being like monstrous infantry. Monstrous infantry that aren't super quick, like Minotaurs, are just not really that good in Total War Warhammer 1, 2, and probably 3. And their regular infantry, Noblars, are rubbish. So maybe their best units are going to have to rely very heavily on like these big monster spams. Because this unit here survived the battle. The only reason it routed was because of the army losses, and it took out a full unit of Screamers of Tzeentch and barely took any damage at all. And using gut magic, I believe you can actually heal them as well. So single entity spam for ogres definitely seems like it's going to be the way. And they've also got these lead belchers over here, which.
The one thing about the ogres with the large entities is the regeneration. I don't know if the AI is using it very effectively or anything, but you know, if you've ever tried to do a healing kind of army, you know, you really need single entities or tough, monstrous entity, like small unit number entities to get for your heals to work, you know, because otherwise you can't heal them fast enough. Like if you try and use life magic on like, you know, high elf spearmen or something, then the high elf spearmen, they tend to die too quick that the heals can't really affect them, you know. Whereas if you use the life magic, if you use Earthblade on like a dragon or a hero or something, you can see the health go up and, you know, you can heal them and stuff. But anyway, so the thing with the ogres, like, I mean, having a unit of 24 ogres is not that great, but having like the Mournfang cavalry, I think they only have like 8 or 12 units or something, and the man-eaters only have like the more elite units only have like 12 entities or something like that, you know. So they're going to be pretty good at the individual entities won't die as fast as they would if they were normal infantry, so you can get more time for regeneration to kick in onto them, you know what I mean? And also, I think we noticed with some of the regeneration stuff, at least one ability, I assume it's kind of a new philosophy they're doing all across the board, a lot of the regeneration stuff is percentage of total health. So instead of being like 4 HP per second or 10 HP per second or whatever, it's percentage of total health. So, you know, so it works good on big creatures, basically. Works better on big creatures, or it works just as well on large creatures as small or whatever, because it's like a percentage thing, I guess, you know. So I don't know. Anyway, that was just a little thought I had. I mean, I don't know. I think Legend's right. They're probably still going to be shit, but I think like that's one advantage that they might have. Maybe that'll be the meta of like just trying to have like mass regen on all of your ogres, so they just don't die that fast.
In another battle, we can sort of showcase that a bit more. But yeah, overall, I'm very grateful for Creative Assembly for giving me the ability to showcase you this gameplay, because the early access build is not yet available. Obviously, I would way prefer to play it because I'd be able to gather way more information. But it's just not at that point yet. I imagine it'll be fairly soon, because we're only 4 months away to release. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the battle video. We'll be covering some sieges. Minor siege and a walled siege over the next couple of days. So look forward to that. I'll be covering different factions as well.
Wow.
But of course, in those videos, I will not be actually playing the game. It's just, it's all just video footage. I wanted to have a little bit of fun with it, so don't get too upset with me for lying by omission at the start, I suppose. Anyway, that's the end of this one here. Post a comment if you thought I was playing the battle at the start, and also post a comment at which point you realized I wasn't playing it. Bonus points if you realize it's super early.
Legends having
at no
fun.
point did I actually say I'm playing the battle. I said things like I'm showcasing this, I'm showcasing that, because I wasn't playing the battle. Anyway, that's the end of this one. I'm a goofball. I'll see you next time, fuckers. Appreciate you. Bye.
See you, Legends. Yeah, Legend's cool. Like, it's cool. Like, he's wrapped. He's wrapped. You know, he's excited about Warhammer 3. I'm fucking excited about Warhammer 3. I assume all you guys are pretty fucking excited about Warhammer 3 as well. I mean, it's so funny how my perceptions changed. Like a week ago, I was like, why do they keep showing us all this crap? Like, it's not coming out for ages, blah, blah, blah. But now that they've kind of said the release date of February 17th, I'm kind of thinking it's not that far away, actually. Because February 17th is the release date. They're probably going to give early access to the partners on like mid-January. So in mid-January, it's only like 3 months away, you know? I don't know. But 3 months doesn't seem that long, because it's like, it's nearly Christmas time, and then it's going to be Christmas, and it's going to be after Christmas, and then we're going to start seeing Warhammer 3 gameplay, like, you know, let's plays and stuff. So I don't know, it just, I don't know what happened between this week and last week, but all of a sudden, instead of it feeling like forever away next year, now it feels like it's like coming really soon, you know. So yeah, I don't know if that's the same for you guys, but yeah, are you a partner or have a chance to be a partner? Hey, Jacka, I don't know, actually. No, I'm not a partner. I'm just a verified. So they have like a sort of more junior training wheels type of version of it, where they let you what do you call that? Get a little bit of early access, but they don't. So the partners, it's a bit more serious with the partners. If anyone doesn't know how this stuff works, with the partners, they actually have to sign NDA agreements that are legally binding, so they can't show anything that they're not allowed to show. And then Creative Assembly will like give them very early access. So you know, so the partners may get the game like 2 months before we get the game, you know. But at that point, when no one's seen any gameplay, they'd be under a strict NDA not to talk about it, not to show anyone, not to even let anyone know that they've got the game, perhaps, you know what I mean? And then they'll go into another phase where they'll be like, okay, now you're allowed to make very limited videos, you're not allowed to show this much stuff or whatever, because they integrate the partners into their marketing release schedule, you know. But it's all covered by contracts and NDAs and all that sort of stuff. But with the verified partners, with the verified people in the partner program like me, we don't have any NDAs, we don't have any agreements or anything. It's all just handshake agree. You know what I mean? There's no legally binding thing or anything. So there's two things with that. One, it means we can show whatever we want, and there's no legal repercussions for it because we don't have to sign any NDAs. But the other part of it is that they don't give us super early. They don't give us access to anything that's too important, you know what I mean? Like, they're only going to give us early access to stuff a little bit ahead of schedule. Generally, they'll still tell us not to show certain things and stuff like that, but it's not. But yeah, anyway. So if anyone didn't understand how it works, that's how it works. So the partners get super early access to everything. They get access to secret stuff that we don't know about, and they're under like legal obligation not to talk about that stuff. The verified guys like me and Linksy and Dame Offensive and stuff, you know, we get a little bit of early access and we get a little bit of information sometimes, although most of the time we don't know anything that you guys don't know, but we don't have any contracts or NDA or anything. So also it's November, which feels very end of the year. That's what I mean. It feels like it's nearly end of the year, and then it's like basically right at the start of the year that we're going to start seeing early access. Sorry, Messi, could you repeat that, please? Fuck off, back, you dick. No, I'm not repeating that. Sorry, I've got a bit of a habit to go ranting about things sometimes, and Hobak's obviously trying to trigger me to make me do it again. But yeah, it's not long away. Not long away. I maybe do have a chance to get a partner. Maybe. I did talk to them a while ago about it, and they didn't say. They said that we'll have a bit of time to figure it out, you know, a bit closer to the thing, and they didn't rule it out. They didn't say yes, but they didn't rule it out, you know. So basically, I was saying, because like I probably won't get to 15k before Warhammer 3 comes out, but I probably will get to 15k after Warhammer 3 comes out. So my kind of, yeah, so I'm kind of hoping that I might be able to get like special consideration or something, you know. But yeah, I don't know. There's no guarantees or anything. But if I can get to 15,000 before Warhammer 3 comes out, then I feel like that gives me a pretty strong argument. But the thing with a partner as well is you can only apply for it. It's not like I just get to 15,000 and then boom, I'm a partner. You know, it's like if I get to 15,000, then I have to apply to it, and then they'll decide whether or not, you know, they want to do it. Because it's like I said, it's a bit more serious, the partner thing. Like, because they're gonna then trust you with stuff. They're gonna get you to sign contracts and stuff. So, you know what I mean. But anyway, yeah. Anyway, so enough talking about that. There was a guy. Somebody else was saying there's something else that we should look at that was good. I forgot what he said now. Was it Marcus? Was it you that said it? What was his name? The guy that you wanted me to check out.
And you just pick your style however you want.
Serious trivia. Okay.
Streamers are just about defeated. I wasn't expecting much out of them. They don't seem very good. And also the
Serious trivia? Oh wow. It's 20k subscribers. That's pretty cool. Was that? Yeah, this is him. I'd never even heard of Serious Trivia before.
This is Serious Trivia, and today we finally have some more Warhammer 3 news.
Yeah, seems like it's a nice voice. Seems like a nice guy. I don't know any of the other, like I don't talk to any of the other creators or anything. I don't really know any of the any of the other creators apart from like the big partner ones. The big well, I guess Serious Trivia is probably a partner as well. I just don't know him. I wonder if he's on the. Yeah, like I said, I don't really know a lot of the people. Serious? No, he doesn't seem to be in the partner list. Don't know. Maybe does he do other stuff, or no? He seems to be a Total War YouTuber. But anyway, so I don't know. I feel a bit embarrassed that I don't know who he is, but yeah. Anyway, so is it this first look Cathay one?
Now there has been a flood of Warhammer news coming out in forms of blogs, game mechanics, roster reviews, and we haven't really covered much of that. And the reason is I've been waiting for something like this.
Jump to the battle part. There's a lot of Three Kingdoms. Oh, that would be why I don't know him, because yeah, I don't follow Three Kingdoms really at all. The only Three Kingdoms person I really follow is Happy Compy Total War. And he's not really even a Three Kingdoms guy. I think he's more of like a Rome 2 guy. And that's why I follow him, because I'm into Rome 2 and Attila. But I'm more of like a fan, you know what I mean? I don't like play Rome 2 and Attila anymore, but I'm still like interested in it. Oh, this is cool. So we haven't seen this before, have we? I'll turn the volume up so we can hear what he's saying.
2 crane gunners, a Wuxing cart, which we didn't get to see earlier. It's a spell casting single unit cart. You have this big orb that suck in magical powers, pulled by oxen carts. You can even put alchemists inside, I believe. It's a single target. 3 of those celestial guards, 2 of the fire rocket variant of the cannon, 1 sky junk, which is the premium version, and 2 terracotta war sentinels, plus Mao Ying as our leader, which I believe is going to go into dragon form pretty quick. And across the field is an army of Tzeentch led by Carlos Fate Weaver and a few of his more elite single units. I believe there is a soul grinder and another spellcaster. Well, we'll see. And we get to deploy first, so let's set things up. This is a open land battle. Tomorrow's video will be a major settlement fight, and then the following day will be a minor settlement fight, just to showcase different things. And you can see how oppressive the range is on these cannons. They're actually quite impressive. As someone who really liked range units, pretty much in love with these units. And you see, you want to kind of mix your melee with your range to give the bonuses. 35 range is not a lot, so you kind of need to put units not just in the front, but also a few in the on the left and right flanks, and maybe even the rear as well. Especially since Tzeentch has a lot of flying units, so they're gonna slip through pretty easily.
Sorry guys, just got some channel business going on Discord here.
And it's going to be quite colorful. I mean, Warhammer is going to be quite colorful with all the spells, especially with these chaos factions. You can see that's a shot from your sky junk, which I believe just will have more range because it's elevated. It's still 360, but elevation does matter a little bit, and you can see the cannons. It's also deployed a little bit more forward.
So yeah, so no one's playing anything, right? So CA have given footage to all the different creators that somebody at CA already recorded, and then they've given that to the creators, and the creators are just able to do a commentary over the top. So none of the creators and me, none of us are playing anything. We're just watching and we're commenting on what we see.
It's massive amount of coverage. But it's pretty scattered.
Deploying range units in front of trees is triggering me. Well, they get that. They can shoot through the trees for a certain few seconds, as long as it's not too far away.
622 damage scattered across these 7 shots. So each one's not going to be, as damaging.
Just like you only say that so you don't criticize. This is not me playing. God.
But it's pretty good when you have enemies clumped up like this. You just pound the positions. Very satisfying.
I wouldn't, if it was me playing, I just have all crossbows. I wouldn't have any of this melee infantry. I'd have like 10 units of crossbows, like 4 units of these like long range abacus type dudes. I just have like 4 units of infantry just equally spaced with so I'd have like 1 unit of infantry with like 4 ranged units around them in a circle, so they all get the buff from the yin buff, and then I'd have all my dudes in squads of like 5 with them in a circle around the yin group for the buff, and yeah, so yeah, it's definitely not me.
And you can even see a couple of the crane gunner shots from the sky junk as well coming out. I don't think we'll get to see one of the bombs.
I'm not really, I just don't really get into Cathay that much, eh?
And 30 seconds up, time to change to our dragon form, because we don't really have a lot of aerial answers here. And as we mentioned, Tzeentch has a lot of flying units, so we're getting flanked on the left by it. Although I'm kind of hesitant to think about moving the leader out right now, because by standing there, she provides the double reload bonus for the in harmony. Oh, she's casting spells. Dragon claws, disrupting formations.
He's doing the same thing. He's like pretending that he's playing the battle.
Melee, boost the armor of our front line there. Getting flanked on the right as well, as you can see. They have some sort of cavalry units, and those flying units are all over the place actually. And Carlos here himself lands. Because there's so many, as you can see, different flying options, they can come out and pick out your range, units from behind pretty easily, which is rather difficult to deal with.
What's the spell? Is that spell?
With how you want the bonuses.
Buff spell.
Right, with how you want bonuses between in and
boost the armor 38 seconds before the enemy reaches them. Nice one, yeah. Skill shot.
And there's going to be a lot of spells that can really hurt you.
But yeah, like Legend said, they're not trying to showcase good gameplay. They're just trying to see see stuff happening, basically, just see different spells and different units doing their thing.
All those discate riders.
I think they're trying to showcase the units more than the generalship.
They're going to need to regroup because these flying units just have come in to harass our range.
Oh, so what are the Doom Knights? Oh, they're actually attacking right now. We can't see though. The Doom Knights went in and attacked for a bit, and then they flew away again. I would have thought they didn't wait for their energy shield to come back. They're at half health. See, they're at half health right now. They still haven't regenerated. Still haven't regenerated.
Right there.
Still haven't regenerated.
Right. Color scheme.
Still haven't regenerated. I think it's because one of the units was stuck in melee.
Imagine that on our front.
Yeah, one of them's still stuck in melee. Ah, shit. So that's pretty crap with cavalry for Tzeentch, because one of their units got stuck in combat on the ground. So even though they've circled around, flying around, trying to cycle charge, they actually had one unit stuck in combat. So their regen never started. It's finally started now. I think you can see when we see them again up here. You better see they got a little bit. It's gone again now because they went back into melee. But they did get a little bit of energy back. But they were out of combat for ages with no regen, because they had one dude stuck on the ground still fighting.
Our front line is taking a beating.
So that's interesting. So I wonder if the horses might be kind of better in a way, because they might have a bit more mass to be able to pull out. maybe the disc riders don't have much mass and it's hard to get you guys back out of combat.
You can see these spells being thrown out at us from the side. Yeah, we have quite a few units that bounce back that's not being used right now, but it's chaotic. Understandable.
Nah, this guy's not playing. Like CA did an official like announcement saying no one has got early access, no one is playing it. So no matter how it looks, like no one's actually playing it.
The Skyjunk really should come back and just do a bombardment. Really want to see what it actually looks like, but keeping it safe. You can see those are the shots from the crane gunners on top of the platform. I mean, these are nice too.
The interface, I like the interface, you know, it looks kind of like pretty much the same as the old interface from Warhammer 2, but it's like a little bit different, but it looks pretty nice. It's like pretty clean, pretty easy to like see everything. And you know, it's pretty like understandable. It's just because the guys keep saying we when he's talking about the Cathay. Yeah, he's like kind of making it out like he's on the Cathayan's team or whatever. But he's not actually playing.
Terracotta is still going super strong.
Good video though. Hats off to what's his name again? Hats off to Serious Trivia for good video. It looks pretty. Well, I guess he didn't record the footage, but yeah. Well, hats off to CA for recording the footage, whatever. I'd like to get zoomed into the units to see if the graphics appearance has improved. Did you just arrive, Dustin D? We watched a whole bunch of unit stuff earlier. If you want to check out the original videos, they're on Great Book of Grudges. He's got 4 different videos. Each one goes through like unit by unit with close-ups of every single unit. Not every single unit in the roster, but every single unit that CA showed in the videos. So yeah, you can either rewind the stream or go and check out Great Book of Grudges. I can do a little recap if you want, maybe.
From like 60 something to like 24.
Oh yeah, was there anything else that you guys think we should have a look at after this? I feel like we've kind of covered most of it. I mean, it's already been 2 hours solid that we've been watching videos. I mean, you guys seem, seem entertained. Great Book of Grudges put out seven videos once. Man, Great Book of Grudges, I got a lot of respect for. I got a lot of respect for Nathan. Like, he really takes his channel seriously. He really works fucking hard at it, and he just, he does what's necessary, it's pretty impressive. Same with Legend, Legend's like, he takes his channel seriously. He treats it like, he tries to be a professional about it, and I think Great Book of Grudges is the same as well. Even though he's a really cool guy, he's a very like artistic sort of guy, a musician and everything. But he definitely takes his channel seriously, and yeah, gotta respect that. A bit more serious than me. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I find it very hard to find time to actually make any content a lot of the time. But we do our best. Yeah, you can't see things too well in this, unfortunately, but that's what the unit spotlights are for. We can go back and have a look at them quickly.
And it's a Pyrrhic victory, or it should be, as long as we click end battle. It was not pretty, but we came through here, and that's one of the first game footage we actually saw. Everything, of course, is still in development, and eager to see more. Like
these things on the Terracotta Sentinels, how quickly they move and such. I think they were just like normal giant speed, yeah, like 48 or whatever. But yeah, we can have a quick look back at it's mostly mad. It's me.
Hello everyone. Hello everyone.
Oh, it was already, sorry, other tab. Here we go. So this is Tzeentch. So yeah, you can go through and see close-ups of all of the different units with their unit cards on the right-hand side and the left-hand side there and stuff. For Cathay. Wait up, did I already go past it? I think I went past it. Yeah, 48. Yeah, 48 speed. Yeah, I think that's just normal kind of giant speed. I love the rematch button. That's quality of life for sure. Pretty sure rematch is already in the game now. Oh, rematch for custom battle is already in the game now. I'm pretty sure, isn't it? Not sure about multiplayer though, or but yeah, it's in there for if you want to play the quest battles. It's got rematch. I'm pretty sure. I just can't remember with custom. But yeah, so you can watch all of Greybook. I definitely recommend Greybook Grudge's videos. If you don't like his voice or whatever, you can mute it or whatever, I guess. But no, he's pointed out a lot of the interesting, important stuff about the different units, and he's also just kind of let the unit speak for himself. Like, he's just
it's going to work in the same way.
He's talking about the interesting stuff, but he's also kind of just letting the units speak for themselves to a degree as well, and let you just look at the stuff, which is fine, which is good. That's all I really want anyway, In 3K, you have rematch on the campaign. Oh, yeah, I don't think that's what that is necessarily, Kia. It could be, but yeah, I'm like 99% sure that what we saw before was not a campaign battle. I'm pretty sure it would be a custom battle. So yeah, so I mean, maybe they are putting the rematch onto the campaign, but I wouldn't assume not. And I hope they don't have that on Legendary. That'd be kind of whack. I mean, I guess it's fine. You just have to have a new version of Legendary, which with house rules saying that you don't ever use rematch. But yeah, that's fine. Actually, yeah. That's a good thing about being a streamer, is that you can have like rules and stick to them because you've got like witnesses, like when you play by yourself, you can be like, oh yeah, I'm not going to save scum, and I'm not going to alt F4 any battles, and I'm not going to do this and I'm not going to do that. But then like when you kind of get a campaign completely ruined because of something, then you're like, well, since no one's watching, maybe I'll just do a sneaky alt F4 and refight that one, But when you've got a stream watching, like you can actually, it helps keeps you honest, So, but that's those kind of restrictions and stuff actually can make the game more like better, I think there's design flaws to having your oxen so close to the business end of your cannon. Yeah, I feel like the oxen would get pretty alarmed, wouldn't they, if the cannon like just shot near their head? Because normally when you have oxen and stuff like that, the oxen pull the cannon from the other way, like the cannon points away from the oxen and they pull it backwards until you get it to the position you want it on the battlefield. Then you detach the oxen and they fuck off somewhere far away, and then you fire the cannon. You don't like leave the oxen attached to the cannon while you're shooting it, or the team of horses. Imagine if they were horses, they'd probably freak out. I don't know if I feel like oxen would be less responsive than horses, like they wouldn't freak out as much. But yeah, I don't know. Thanks on the video, by the way. Okay, no worries. I just save scum. Well, for me, it's awesome. I just use save scum to repeat a battle. I don't care about legendary. It's just annoying. These are brave Warhammer oxen. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I don't. Yeah, no. I definitely alt F4 a bit of stuff every now and again. Don't get me wrong. But you can desensitize. Yeah, I guess they're like deafened oxen. They just like fire a pistol next to their ear, and they're like, "Yep, done both ears on that oxen. Deafened, ready for battle." No, I don't know. That's not. Really shouldn't talk about torturing animals, but whatever. Yeah. First thing for me to play, hopefully, is going to be Warriors of Chaos. Yeah, Legend kind of said in his video that he thinks that Warriors of Chaos are going to get reworked on day one in Warhammer 3. So as soon as Warhammer 3 comes out, we're going to get a new version of Warriors of Chaos. They're not going to be a horde. We know that they occupy 2 settlements in Chaos Fate Weaver's starting province. This is minor factions of Chaos Warriors. But yeah, so we know that Warriors of Chaos is getting reworked straight away in Warhammer 3. And I expect it to be really good. But we don't know whether you're going to be able to play at launch. There is another conspiracy theory that because like Reichland is on the Warhammer 3 map. So we're not even talking about Mortal Empire. It's just the straight Warhammer 3 map when it first comes out. Reichland is on the map. You know what I mean? Reichland's on the map. Midland's on the map. Hochland's on the map. Ostland's on the map. All these Empire provinces are on the map, right? Also, Snickitch's starting position, the Haunted Wood, I think it's called. Malus, Darkblade's Dragon Isles are on the map. So there's this kind of conspiracy theory that maybe they're going to do something different with Warhammer 3. Instead of having Warhammer 3 come out with only the Warhammer 3 factions and not being able to play anything else, maybe Warhammer 3 will come out and you'll be able to play the Warhammer 1 factions that are, like, if you've got the other games, you'll be able to play those factions in Warhammer 3 if they exist on the map. You know what I mean? So just say you've got Warhammer 1 and you've got Karl Franz and Volkmar, then when you buy Warhammer 3 without having Mortal Empires, you might be able to straight away play that. It sounds like pretty, like, unlikely, you know, like, it seems unlikely because they, you know, but I don't know. I mean, maybe. You never know. But anyway, yeah, so, yeah, we don't know whether you're going to be able to play Warriors of Chaos at launch, but we know they are getting a rework at launch, so that's cool. Possibly Be'lakor is going to be the ninth Lord. Possibly Be'lakor is going to be Warriors of Chaos Lord. So, it kind of makes sense to me that they're going to have the 4 Chaos Gods and they're going to have Chaos Undivided, you know, and that's going to be the full roster of Chaos Lords for you to play. Even if they don't have Archeon, Sigvald, and Kolic, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people agree that it makes a lot of sense for Be'lakor to be the 9th Lord and for Warriors of Chaos to be the extra, like, hidden faction or whatever. So, yeah, I don't know. I hope so yeah, that would probably be my number 1. Ogre Kingdoms is so far the most exciting faction for me in terms of faction mechanics. I think the camp mechanic is totally new and game changing and seems really exciting. Second most exciting campaign mechanics for me would probably be Kislev. So yeah, but basically, as I said before, it's gonna, like, when the game first comes out, there's not gonna be any DLC. All the factions are gonna be like have limited rosters. They're not gonna have all their stuff, you know. So for me, when the game first comes out, it's not gonna be about having your, like, ultimate game with your favorite faction. Just say Ogre is your favorite faction or Kislev's your favorite faction. You're not gonna be having your ultimate campaign with them on day one because you're not gonna have half their stuff. You know, you got to wait for 6 months till the couple of DLCs come out, and then you've kind of got everything for Kislev or everything for, you know, whichever faction that you're going to play. So at the start of the game, it's not really about having that ultimate campaign. It's just about the variety, you know. We're just going to be trying out all the factions and having that variety, playing into the Tzeentch campaign, see what that's like. Play Ogre campaign, see what that's like, you know. I expect in the, you know, in the month or so before the Mortal Empires comes out, I expect I'll probably have played all of the. Let's check out Zerkovich video. I haven't checked out any Zerkovich videos. Zerkovich is a good content creator. Provides lots of really good. I love Zerkovich for his, like, stats-based stuff and his, like, secret stats, hidden mechanics, and all that kind of stuff.
So we're kicking it off with the Nobblers, or Nobbos as I like to call them, as they're very similar to Greenskin's Gobbos. A cheap, chaffy infantry with a spear that isn't anti-large though, and its stats are overall similar to Goblins, but Goblins are great for their silver shield, which helps them absorb a lot of missiles. The Nobblers don't have a shield, so they're not going to be as effective.
They're just like a much crapper version of Goblins.
Because of it.
Yeah.
Then we've got a variant on the Nobblers.
I wonder if he's going to say anything about this trap ability.
Similar in melee, their stats are pretty much the same, but they are very importantly wearing wolf hats. These ones have Stalk and Vanguard deployment, so they're the sneaky version, and they also have a ranged.
But they don't have armor piercing like nasty skulkers.
So where the regular Nobblers are going to be on the front line getting smashed up, these ones you'll want to Vanguard deploy and use them in sneaky ways from the flanks. They also have the Nobbler Traps ability, you can see there, which reduces speed when an enemy unit comes near them when they're not moving, so they do have to stand still to make the use of it. Overall, they're basically like nasty skulkers for the Greenskins, except instead of armor-piercing damage, they have a ranged attack instead.
Okay, so if they're not moving when an enemy attacks them, then they cast their trap on the enemy, and it's only got one use. It's only the first time that they get that an enemy approaches them, I guess. And the trap does damage over time as well. So that's pretty interesting, very interesting. Damage per second, 13 to 25 per second. Doesn't say how long it lasts, so I don't really understand. Can use if not moving. It's such a weird, I don't know, I don't get it. It's like a passive ability. It's only got one use. You can only use it if you're not moving. It doesn't have any duration. Like, I don't, yeah, I mean, this stats thing just confuses the hell out of me. I don't know what's going on.
Except instead of armor-piercing damage, they have a ranged attack instead. So that's it for our cheap chappy infantry. Just those
Unbreakable
units.
crap stack. Yeah,
Now
it could be
onto the
cool.
Big boy ogres, which are technically monstrous infantry, but they're kind of like our regular infantry.
Yeah.
Ogre bulls here. These are the same, I think, as our regular ogres that we have in Warhammer 2 now, with a few stat improvements.
Oh yeah, so we know that. So there was, when we saw the second ogre video, there was some speculation because in the second ogre video they'd boosted the size of the units. They had huge units of like 100 ogres and stuff like that just for the video to make it look more apocalyptic or whatever. But yeah, so people were wondering whether maybe they had large units. Maybe that would be a different thing that they had, because these are the crappy ogre bulls that you can hire as mercenaries in Warhammer 2. You get 24 units. So I was thinking maybe when you get the actual ogre faction, they'd have a better version that would just be better because it had more entities in it or something. But no, that's not. All of these are exactly the same. Like the ogre bulls and the man-eaters are exactly the same as the ones we saw.
And they're unbreakable, lacking in the armor and melee defense though. But as we can see, they're a siege attacker. They have Stalk and Vanguard deployment, so they're going to be one of those sneaky units we can try and deploy behind the enemy.
Oh, Stalk and Vanguard.
Artillery, give them a nasty surprise. So these are going to be one of our stealth units.
They're pretty scary, these Gorges.
They also have an ability Gorger, which says it allows them to be ability targeted for Gorger specific abilities, which we'll look at in a bit.
Yeah, so Scrag gets a regeneration ability.
So very much the damage dealer, these ones going to be a
Sneaky ogres, yeah. It's kind of mutant ogres that have gone mad from hunger.
8 though, so you will have to be somewhat careful with them perhaps, especially as they're not super tough. They certainly look like some fun units to...
Yeah, so this is kind of come back to what I was talking about. They're not super tough. They don't have any armor. They don't have melee defense. But they do have high HP per entity. So they got 7.3k health and 8 units. So they've got 900 health per entity, right? So that's sort of what I was saying about healing and regeneration spells. Like, you don't want to have healing and regeneration on some Noblars or something, because they're just going to be all dead. They're not, and like, they don't heal. They're not like vampire skeletons that come back from the dead. Whereas these guys, you know, because they got enough health, they're actually worth healing. I don't know. That just could be an aspect of them anyway.
The Vanguard deploy
and their speed is quite good, 54.
54, that's kind of the regular ogre speed, it seems. So
I thought the ogre speed was slower than that. I don't know. What's the ogre speed? 54. It is a regular ogre speed. Okay, so ogres are pretty fast. Yeah, but yeah, so yeah, like you said, so the Gorges aren't any faster. But 54 is pretty good, like, isn't it? Or is that, I don't know, is that normal monstrous infantry speed? Like a troll's 54? I guess trolls are kind of fast as well for infantry. Big legs, big steps. Yeah, I mean they're slow. Like they're slower than heavy cavalry, obviously. And heavy cavalry aren't that fast either. But yeah, okay. So that's just normal, right? So 54 is like normal monstrous infantry. 48 is like normal giant speed. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so they're not very fast, but they are invisible, so that's cool. You can sneak him around. Be like, if you wouldn't want to get these guys in your archers, you know, it'd be pretty nasty. Or I wonder what the armor piercing would be good for. They might be good for ganking lords. Maybe like because yeah, they're anti-infantry and they're armor piercing, so you could maybe gank people's foot lords. Like, yeah, I don't know.
Speed, it seems so. Not going to be super fast at executing those flank plans, but fast enough.
Yeah, so these bad boys are the other ones I was saying are kind of good for healing. They've only got 16 entities, so it's pretty small amount of entities, nearly 10k health. So I don't know, they got like 400. Maybe my maths is screwed up, but no, 500 health each. Yeah, they're like 550, 600 health each or something. So yeah, not as much per entity as the Gorges, but they've got more armor, or a little bit more armor. If you could, you know, so if you could make them tankier somehow, maybe, you know, maybe not these ones, maybe the pistol ones. I don't know, whatever. Anyway, just saying, basically, that's, yeah, I've said it a few times now. All I'm saying is less entities, large health pool, like better for healing, basically.
Still not a lot of armor though, but these are the
yeah, we've already seen all this stuff.
Should allow pretty good. They're not completely terrible in melee.
Oh, yeah, lead belchers.
Fantastically, and they don't have a lot of
16 entity for low health. Okay.
Away and bombard enemies should do a lot of damage, so it gives them a little bit of a different play style with some of the artillery they have as well. Meaning they can
200 range is pretty good.
And wear the enemy down with missiles and ranged units before they all charge in and eat everybody. But of course, they already have a ranged unit of sorts in Warhammer 2, the Man-Eater's Ogre Pistol. So another reason why the Ogres can have that defensive ranged game plan if they want to. They've got these boys, although as we know they are quite expensive as they are good in melee and do have that pretty decent range, 140 ranged attack with armor piercing missile damage. So a really strong hybrid unit. They can sit behind the front.
I'm really
some of their ammo.
I'm just, I know I probably shouldn't bother whinging about it, but I'm really disappointed with the man-eaters. Like that, you know, like Golfag is, I don't know if anyone remembers Golfag's Ogres. I think it was like an old Regiments of Renown unit. And some of the man-eaters they'd have all different man-eaters, like unique, they'd all be unique depending on which country they hung out with. So you'd have like Cathayan looking man-eaters, you'd have like pirate looking man-eaters, you'd have, you know, like Bretonian looking man-eaters, Blood Bowl looking ones. And you know, some of them would be in like full plate armor. So yeah, I think there's a character called Golfag, and you could get a regiment of renown like Golfag's Ogres, and Golfag was like in full plate armor if I recall correctly, and that's what I would, you know, I love my heavy infantry, and if I was gonna have a favorite ogre, it would be like Golfag or someone in like full heavy armor. Oh yeah, maybe I noticed Legend didn't say that character's name because he said the YouTube algorithm would like screw it up or whatever. So oh well. Hopefully it doesn't. It was just a name. It's not meant to be a derogatory term or anything.
Got armor piercing melee damage, so they just do all kinds of work. They can fire whilst moving as well, so they can move up with the main part of the army and keep putting out damage as they go. So a really nice addition alongside the artillery.
It has the F word, yeah.
To give the Ogres that defensive game plan if they should want to use it. They are a wall breaker as well.
Yeah, we know this stuff. Although to be fair, like, yeah, I'm pretty out of touch with this stuff. Legend actually had a really good interview that he did with Battle Tutorial, I think it was, and he was talking about how when he used to be like a bit of an edgelord and stuff, how I thought it was super interesting actually and really insightful. He was saying how he got into this situation where he was like interacting with a lot of edgy people online, and then over time his like barometer for what was normal became more and more like edgy, you know, and so then when you talk to like people who are not edgy at all, they think that you're like really messed up, you know, but it's not like you really are like that. It's just the way you talk, you know. And yeah, I feel like I can definitely relate to that, you know, like with lots of swearing and like lots of saying like offensive words and stuff like that. But it's like there's no malice to it, you know what I mean? Like I don't know if most of you guys now watching are regular viewers of my channel, but you probably know that I'm a pretty, you know, I ain't got any problem with anybody really, you know. Pretty easygoing guy, you know, but I probably say words and phrases that are super offensive to certain people, you know. And yeah, I can totally identify with that. You just get into that habit of whoever your peers are, you talk the way they talk, and you don't realize that it's super offensive to other people.
Ogre Kingdoms cavalry is pretty terrifying, but it doesn't end there. Oh no boy. There's the Rhinox cavalry as well. Crushers.
Okay, these guys are new.
These are basically the Mournfang cavalry just juiced up to the max. They've got more armor, more melee attack, a bigger charge bonus, more weapon strength, and they are anti-large. So these boys are going to be super tough.
Yeah, looking forward to these guys.
Cavalries pretty easily, I imagine. It'll be interesting to see how.
Yeah, my trying not to swear on stream yesterday didn't work too well. I had some pretty rough battles. That Doom Siege defense was... Sorry, I can't hear myself talk over Zukovic. That Doom Siege defense that I fought out, like, I was swearing a lot during that. My face is in the way? Oh, okay, sorry, Bruce. I'll get rid of my face.
Does have the wounds mechanic now, as all single entities do, so that's going to make it a little bit less effective as the battle wears on.
Okay.
Still, a nice
Thanks, Ed. Nice, appreciate it. What's their name? Sorry, did we miss one? So these guys are the Crushers with great weapons. Is that the one you're talking about? These ones are the ones that are pretty... Look at it, 120 armor. All the other good stuff that Mournfangs already have. Plus they're anti-large. Yeah, so just going to be like very brutal. That's his face off with a knife, yeah. But yeah. I love this model. I think the Giant's just a standard Giant. I don't think there's anything special about them except for because it's Warhammer 3. They've got this single entity skill that makes them get a 20% reduction in their damage once they drop below 50% health. But what? Anyway.
have the Nobblers, who are basically goblins.
Pretty sure those things were Rhinoxes. Oh, they're not Mournfang cavalry?
Still, your classic. So these ones
Oh, right.
on your flanks looking to take
They're
out
not Mournfangs. Right, okay, cool. Alright, so they're different in that way as well.
a good old giant.
Good call. Thanks, Bob. Thanks, Sedenoise.
Lots of weapon strength, which is armor piercing. Fear, terror, does have the wounds mechanic now, as all single entities do. So that's gonna
Yeah,
be
wounds
less
mechanic.
effective as the battle wears on, but still a nice big damage dealer monster.
I feel like giants are such a cool unit, and they just don't like.
Kingdoms do overall have
They're just not.
units that we already have.
I don't know. Like they're just such a cool unit, like to look at and just conceptually, like just the concept of a giant, like especially these kind of like ogre slave giants and stuff. They're really cool, but I don't really know what they. I can't really think of any like reason to actually take them or use them. You know,
Scrap launcher.
Nobler scrap launcher.
420 and very nice missile strength at 490, although not
Speed 66 is pretty good. So it's kind of like a war wagon or whatever. You know, it can move quite fast around the battlefield with its Rhinox pulling it.
pretty good chariot as well. So it's a combo chariot artillery, which
Charge bonus. Oh, okay, so it's got good charge bonus. You're saying, so you can use it as a chariot. Oh, you can use it as a single entity chariot as well. That's pretty interesting.
fast. So
Also, these are all single entities, so they're going to benefit a lot from like the regeneration healing ability. Yeah, 66 for a catapult. Yeah,
can imagine doesn't mess around in melee. Armor piercing, anti-infantry, beefy charge bonus, lots of armor as well. So it's tough, it hits hard, and it has that ranged attack, which is pretty decent range at 250, and is a strong armor piercing missile. So just an absolute damage powerhouse. Has fear and terror as well. Again, adds to the defensive capabilities of the Ogre Kingdoms. If they want it, this thing can just stay back.
there's also a cannon version of the siege unit that I saw in the trailer. Ah, okay, nice. 420 range. Is that high? Is that longer than Firestorm?
Firebelly, who of course has the law of fire magic to use, but he's pretty good in melee as well. Big weapon strength.
I love this model. It looks so crazy.
Abilities too, you can
It's like a big fat psycho fire baby.
literally from this dude, kind of similar to perhaps Throg or the River Hag, where they have their kind of breath.
Does this guy get any regeneration stuff, or is that just the? Oh yeah, the Butcher Hero is not in here, is he? No, we don't have the Butcher Hero. So we only got the Fire Belly. We got no Butcher Hero. The Butcher's another caster that has. I think there's 2 different Lords of Magic the Butchers can get. Or there's 2 different Butchers you can get anyway. And then there's the Hunter.
For a short duration, as this is melee damage reflection.
Oh, melee damage reflection. What the fuck? See what else he says about that.
Attacks. Then he's got the Tenderizer ability, a boost to his damage that he can pop for himself. He has Flame Incarnate, which is a new thing to Warhammer 3, melee damage reflection. He's only got 2 uses. It's a ward save.
Yeah, so we already saw that halberds have charge reflection. This is different though. This is like an activatable ability, puts melee damage reflection.
Basically, it reflects damage done to him back at whoever did it to him for a short duration. As this is melee damage reflection plus 10, it means it'll do 10 damage back at whatever hit him, which means it's actually going to be pretty useless to use when fighting other single entities, because 10 damage off 300 damage isn't really worth it. But if he was surrounded by a unit of swordsmen, let's say, and they were all hitting him every second or two, that damage is going to do 10 damage to each of those models that hit him, and they only have about 60 HP anyway, so that's where it's going to add up.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to add up, but very slowly. It's not going to be very good because he's only a single entity. Like only about, say, 6. Did I just spit then? Only say about 6 of the swordsmen are going to be able to hit him at one time, right? So it's only going to be doing, and their swordsman's attack animations, what, like 3 seconds or something, or 5 seconds? I can't remember. Maybe someone else, maybe Entry Tobias or someone, or Edenoise would know. Yeah, like the attack animations on most of the units is actually pretty slow, even slower on like halberds and stuff like that. So you know what I mean. So 10 per attack that they do is pretty low, but it's still like half the damage. Like a lot of units only doing 20 or 30 damage to you. So basically, every time they attack, they do half that much damage to themselves. But yeah, anyway, it's useless against single entities. I don't think it's like going to do that much damage. It's not like I feel like it's almost not worth the effort of clicking it. You know, like to do, so just say six dudes are attacking you, just say they attack you every 4 seconds and it does 10 damage back to each of those 6 guys. So it's doing 10 times 6, so 60 damage every 4 seconds in total to the whole unit. So, you know, so it's like doing 15 damage per second to a unit that's got like 7,000 health or something. So, you know, it's pretty whack. No, it's not giving him ward save. It's just saying the type of ability, like the way that it's targeted, it's counted as a ward save. So like physical resistance gets called ward save, I think, as well, and ward save does obviously as well. But yeah, if he's large enough that a group of spearmen could have like 10 plus entities attack. Yeah, oh, okay, yeah. So just say there's 10 spearmen attacking him, right? Then so 10 times 10, so it's 100 damage, and a spearman will attack once every 4 seconds. So it's 100 damage every 4 seconds, so 25 damage per second on a unit that has 6,000 health. Do you know what I mean? It's irrelevant, you know? Like damage, like a normal damage spell would do, like a good damage spell might do 10 damage per second, but it's doing 10 damage per second on every entity in the unit, and that's why it's going to delete them, you know? Yeah, if you could cast this on an infantry unit, it would be sick, but on him it's just like, yeah, it's like, it's kind of cool, but it's like kind of useless. Anyway, that's my take on it. Yeah.
So that's how melee damage reflection works, and we're probably going to see that on a whole bunch of units. So going to be something new to get used to. Yeah,
I'm interested in seeing who else gets it and whether it gets implemented well on them.
And then he has Eruption, which is an explosion spell, I assume around him, so it'll kind of help him get out of trouble if he needs to. It'll do lots of fiery damage, I imagine. Then we've got all the regular fire spells, as we can see here. We get more stats on them now, though, in Warhammer 3, which is nice. We can see the...
Yeah, these new stat cards are quite good.
Nice addition for Warhammer 3. It's good to know, though, that the ogres have the lore of fire, so it's not just their great Maw lore that they're going to have. And if you're going to have any lore from Warhammer 2, fire is probably one of the best that you're going to get. Other than that, most of the Firebelly's abilities are pretty standard stuff that you can see. He does have one extra ability, though, called Rag Banner, which gives +4 leadership to everyone around him. Couple that up with Encourage that he also has, and that's +8 leadership, which could be very powerful on the front lines of...
No, most of the good spells do way more damage than that in those. Like they might do that much damage, but well, the top end spells will do like Pit of Shades does like 15 damage per second, I think, overcasted. So that's overcasted. I think it only does like 7 or something normal, or 10 or something. But yeah, that's good damage per second for like a top end damage spell. But a normal top end damage spell like a Vortex or a Wind will cover the whole unit. So, you know, it's per entity, yeah. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, that's only going to do a total of 100 damage to a unit, and it's got 6,000 health. Whereas a Vortex spell or a Wind spell would do that to every single unit in the unit and wipe them out, you know, and kill them all. So it's like, yeah, it's not going to do much.
With those low leadership Nobblers and the low leadership cheaper ogres, so he could kind of act as a frontline morale booster, as well as a caster and a reasonably decent melee combatant as well.
Yeah, I don't know about this guy, hey, because he's got not that much health. He's got no armor. His melee defense is bad. He's got good weapon strength, and he's got okay melee attack for a wizard. He's got okay stats. He's got okay melee stats for a wizard, but you know what I mean? You're not going to want to stick him into a blob of infantry. Don't know.
Disability in a second. Rag Banner +4 leadership. Virgin Media duration 35 range. So he should be able to cover a unit or two to his left and right. And then just a couple of resistances here as well. At the
what was that? What was he saying was... sorry.
And brings that lore of magic.
What was he saying covers...
Virgin Media duration 35 range. So he should be able to cover... And the low leadership cheaper ogres. So he could kind of act as a frontline morale booster, as well as a caster and a reasonably decent melee combatant as well. And we'll see this ability in a second.
So Rag Banner, right? +4 leadership, 35 meter range. This is like as well as his normal Encourage aura. The little fist aura, that's the Encourage aura, right? It's good on a cast. Well, no, it's like I sort of feel like it's irrelevant on a caster, right? Because like you don't want your caster in melee, you know, like so why bother having melee stats? It's not like these melee stats are going to make him a beast in melee. I don't know, or maybe I don't know, maybe because he's got maybe he could like be a self-buffing melee guy, something. Encourage, yeah. So he's got encourage that gives you the normal +5 leadership to the nearby allies, and he's got the rag banner that gives him plus leadership as well. So he gives like a double leadership bonus. It's kind of cool. Just need to be confident enough to smite the infantry, dumb enough to blob on top of him. Yeah, I mean, he can always just cast a flame storm on top of himself and then, you know. Did you watch the minor settlement battle in Great Book of Grudges channel? No. What? Thanks, Martin Torres. Let's fucking check that out immediately. That sounds rad. Where are we? What? Which one is that? Oh, game siege battle? Khorne versus Cathay siege battle, Warhammer 3. Is this one?
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is...
No, that doesn't look like a minor. Oh, it's net one more over. Okay. Oh yeah, minor settlement. Okay, awesome. Thanks a lot for... Yeah, okay. I thought we were like winding down. Now I've got a whole new thing to check out. Yeah, I got it.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges.
Welcome, Nathan.
Welcome. Or building or tactics or something like that. Blame him, not me, please. And obviously,
okay, so it's an ogre minor settlement.
Could change by the time of release.
Hype.
Everything is still in development at the moment. I'm not 100% too sure when this was recorded, but it was seeded to us very recently. But with all that being said, we have our first video of today, and there's going to be a few.
What the hell is these things? What are these things?
An Ogre Kingdoms minor settlement battle versus the forces of Grand Cathay. Yes, we're finally.
Oh, that's the trappers.
Minor settlements. And proper gameplay too, meaning stats, spells, and all the like. So what we can see already is that the Ogre settlements are quite interesting, very similar to that of the non-minor settlements in Total War 3 Kingdoms, which is a good format. There is not just one way to attack the settlement, in fact this is a proper 360-degree battle, which is absolutely awesome, loads of different...
Man, one thing I can see straight away is that the minor settlements are heaps easier to defend than the fucking major settlements. It's so bullshit. Because look at this like barricade, this curtain wall of stone here, right? That's impassable. They can't climb that shit. That's just totally invulnerable to infantry. Infantry and cavalry, ground-based units. There's a little choke point here on the right-hand side. You can put your halberds in there with your expert charge defense and reflecting charge damage and stuff. That means you can't flank the halberds. They're like they don't have any quite as good as pikes in Rome 1 or whatever, but whatever. And then you can have back here, you can have like 7 units of archers all focus firing anything that comes through that gap, and that's how you want to fight, you know what I mean? Like, whereas if you're in an actual siege battle, you can't actually do that because, even if you let them take the door down, they can also be climbing over the walls at the same time and outflank you, So it's like the siege battle, the minor settlement battles walls are actually invulnerable walls. So, they obviously the gates aren't there. They have no gates. So whereas major settlements have gates, minor settlements don't have gates, right? So they're missing the gates, but their walls actually work even better than regular walls. They're completely invincible walls, that you just can't go through at all. So yeah, anyway, sorry, it's just a little pet thing. I'm still kind of hoping that they're going to do something about the walls in major settlements, because currently I think the strat with walls is just to abandon them still, and that's disappointing because that's you know what I mean? That's the strat in Warhammer 2, just abandon the walls and fight in the middle. And that seems to be still how you do a major settlement battle.
Different entrances and exits. And
sorry, guys. A bit of a rant.
With some extra bridges, so you have a lot of areas to be able to fight, defend, or even invade. So the member of CA is right now just moving around his forces, getting ready to attack, as the army of Cathay seems to be attacking from 4 different sides. The army composition is rather interesting, as obviously he's playing as Scrag the Sorcerer, so he's brought some Gorgas, which seem to have Vanguard. He's brought a lot of Noblars. I'm not too sure why so many different Noblars, though it could have been through the limitations, as this is a custom battle, not directly through campaign. But we can see a lot of really cool stuff. Obviously, there's some Rhinox riders.
Yeah, like here, you know, you can have some like really super tough infantry here, like shielded spearmen or something like that, you know. And then you can have a barricade here. You can choose different barricades. One of the barricades, I think, buffs ranged units that are docked on it. So you can have a ranged unit buffed here. It's kind of weird how the barricades, like, why don't you put the barricade in the fucking gateway? You know, like I feel like that was a bit of a missed opportunity. Like, it's pretty obvious that you'd want the barricade in the gateway, you know. I mean, I understand maybe they did it for game balance reasons, but it still kind of doesn't make sense. But anyway, yeah, I really like them to, like, so you could build the barricades in the actual gateways. But anyway, whatever. But yeah, so you could buff your range units here so they can shoot here. You have some more range units back here. Plus there's a little raised area here where you can shoot down onto the enemies from this side as well. Like, that's like how you... Like somebody was saying in one of the other streams that towers were one of the most powerful things in siege defenses, because the tower would jut out from the wall and you could shoot out the side of the towers into the sides of the guys that are trying to climb the ladders, right? And that basically that's what we're doing here. We can go onto this raised platform on the side and shoot into the side of the guys in behind their shields, you know? So, you know what I mean? It's just like all these... Like, I think that the major settlements will have more interesting stuff inside the settlements, maybe, you know, with bridges and overlooks and trap areas that you can set up and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of actually keeping them out of the city, it looks already that the minor settlement heaps better at it.
A Stonehorn and a Noblar scrap launcher, which I really, really enjoy. These are one of the units that I loved painting on the tabletop and loved using on the tabletop, so it's nice to see that we pretty much have them, though this was confirmed more or less when we already had a look at the Ogre camps. I'm not criticizing the member of Creative Assembly staff, as he is trying to look around. There's a lot of different entrances and exits.
I think that might be the buff. Instead of putting a barricade there, they put the cauldron there. Might be a buff, one of those like a buff icon thing that buffs everything around it.
Even this just being counted as a minor settlement. Talking about the minor settlement in general, this is extremely impressive. As you can see, it's absolutely massive. I mean, we're a few
in Attila buffs barricades give buffs to range units, yeah.
It is really, really impressive.
I think there's different types of barricades that have different effects in this.
Which we were expecting, but we're expecting all minor settlements to have this grand look. They obviously do not have to be as big because, well, that's how it is, but this is still incredibly awesome. Now, what you will have also noticed is that you can build up stuff in the minor settlements too. So many things which were outlined in the siege rework itself is obviously viable here too, which is good, as that means that you're able to use this mechanic if you so wish. You don't have to if you don't like it, but it's nice to have the option.
I wonder if there's going to be 360 major sieges as well, or only... Well, we saw a siege before that was like 270 basically. You couldn't attack from the back, but you could attack from both sides or the front. It's pretty cool.
My only complaint so far, or better yet said, a question I'm going to throw at the developers after this video is done recording, is why the Sabercats don't have Vanguard. Understandably, there's a lot of units here with Vanguard, but the Sabercats, it kind of had this whole feel with them on the tabletop to give them Vanguard, so yeah, it just kind of makes sense. Though, mind you, you only had Vanguard if you had a Hunter in your tabletop army, so maybe it's the same thing. Hopefully some clarification can be provided by Creative Assembly, as it would really much help. The CA member of staff has obviously wanted to take a while to make sure that his army placement is correct, and it's not too bad, it's just a few minutes, and it obviously allows us to see around the map. Though, with all that being said, the battle is about to begin, and we can start seeing, well, a lot of fighting. Very early on, being able to start knocking down some enemies with some lead belchers, which have a decent amount of range. 200 might be a tad much, though mind you, there are cannons, so... yeah, it does kind of make sense. Again,
yeah, it'd be pretty sweet having just a whole army of lead belchers.
May or may not be shown in the future end product.
Check out those, the cannonballs don't seem to be really disrupting those guys very much.
And it's impressive to see enemy AI attacking from 4 different points. This is something which
Yeah, I guess
AI in
that's
Warhammer 1
pretty cool.
and Warhammer 2 wasn't too good for, especially if you started using, say, for example, modded maps. So at least we're already starting to see AI improvements here. It's not all coming from one location, thus it's forcing you to split up your armies in different directions, which, again, I cannot praise them highly enough. As long as the AI keeps doing this and not making mistakes, well, that's going to be a good thing for Warhammer 3, and it's going to give you reason to play battles more and more rather than just auto-resolve. You are gaining more resources as you're fighting back the enemy. This is very much like the standard format for the new siege battles, meaning that you can keep building up some new settlement defenses if you so need it. And given the fact that Cathay seems a little bit strong,
Yeah, I guess one good thing about the ogres as well is that they're not going to take as much damage from explosive, because they're all of the ogres' normal units are in like explosive, they're in skirmish spread out.
Enemies just attacking you, and you might actually have to need to use battle tactics, proper battle tactics in Warhammer 3, rather than just hiding in a corner for once. This is pretty cool, as you can see that she is quite strong. She is getting hit quite hard though, as Gorgas are going to start running into her, and she was only really defended by, or joined by, better yet said, by some Cathayan artillery and ranged weapons, which perhaps...
Yeah, the Gorges are anti-large. There's 2 units of them about to run into her. I wonder if it's going to be good.
Some anti-large units, some halberdiers or something like that against these guys. Though, again, this being said, this is the AI, and the AI is going to make mistakes. Possibly this was played in a normal battle circumstance. I'm honestly such a big fan of being attacked in multiple fronts and having to work overtime throughout the game map, making sure that you can split up your forces effectively to deal with all sides. This is really cool, and I've seen this battle over and over a few times before recording this video. I've literally just had it on loop on my second screen as I was writing up this script, and I must admit, this is so cool. Being able to strategically fall back into defensive positions, like for example these bridges, which will serve as pretty good choke points, especially if the enemy is running out of ammunition and they'll have to meet you head on. This is a real big quality of life.
Yeah, all the choke points seem really pretty powerful.
Around you, which is so important. Warhammer 1, Warhammer
But I feel like, again, like it kind of screws over offensive melee infantry and cavalry and stuff. But, you know, like, yeah, but I mean, I suppose that's okay. I mean, I guess that's the whole point. Sieges are supposed to.
And make Warhammer such a better game. Just look at these spell effects. This is, of course, the spell known as...
But just like, I know, sorry to harp on about it, but just say you're playing Khorne, right? You got a full, like, just say I'm playing Khorne. I'm like, I love Chaos Warriors. I just have like a whole army of Chaos Warriors with dual weapons or whatever. And because I've figured out that they're pretty good cost-effective wise, and you can buff them out the wazoo, and they just blend everything in melee, right? So I just have like 19 Chaos Warriors with dual axes, and I just bum rush. I go a siege, major settlement siege, and you just like bum rush the walls, climb up the walls, kill everyone on the walls, go into the city, kill everyone in there. Boom, easy. Then you go into a minor settlement, choke points fucking everywhere. You can't get in anywhere. You can't get your melee in anywhere. There's no wall. You can't climb over any walls. They just plug the entries, and then they just rain down hellfire and destruction on you. You know. So yeah. Damn, bro, you're supposed to let me know the 10K. I'll get my sub going once wife gives card. Congrats. You probably won't remember, but we talked about while I was smoking pork earlier this year. Yeah, that sounds familiar. You show me some pictures of your swords and stuff, yeah, man. Is that you? I think I remember.
Which of course does make sense.
Yeah, I'm into hemo. Well, I don't really do it at the moment, but I'm into hemo and European martial arts and stuff like that. So I don't collect swords and stuff, but yeah. But a lot of people that are into hemo do collect swords.
Which does make sense. You're going to want to move your forces back if you're finding yourself overwhelmed, as your 20-man stack has been effectively split into 4 5-man stacks. So there's only so much that you can actually do as you start losing.
Oh yeah, did the Gorgeous Wrecker?
If you don't know exactly what to counter with what.
Welcome to the Patrons of the Sciences, not a real cripple. Much apprecited. New member. Enjoy your Doge of Venice pimp hat. And thank you for patronizing our Total War Science here. If anyone's interested in becoming a member of the channel, you don't get anything. It's there's no special videos or anything. Unfortunately, I've got a full-time job. I barely have enough time to make any content for the channel as it is, so you don't get anything extra special. It's just a way to support the channel, and you get to have a cool green name basically, and you get some custom emojis that you can use. But yeah, so yeah. I just wanted to reiterate this from last time as well. Thank you so much to all the patrons, all the members. Sorry I don't really do anything special for you guys, but I do really appreciate you, and thanks again, man. I told you if you got to 10k I would subscribe. Well, you were as good as your word, my man. Thank you for keeping your promise.
Defenses, which I think works out really, really well. You want to be able to use your surroundings, and why wouldn't you want to use that? I know some players aren't too keen, but again, it's just extra flavor. The Terracotta Sentinels do seem very, very powerful. As far as I've seen throughout the whole battle, they've been pretty much engaged all the time, and it doesn't look like they've lost too much HP.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love the look of this map. I love the idea of defending this map, playing as like the Chaos Dwarves, and just like raining down fucking destruction on anyone who tries to like get into the map on me, you know. But like, yeah, but if you play like a melee infantry faction, then like, you know, like, so I guess what my whinge point is that if I'm playing Khorne and I'm trying to attack stuff like this, I'm gonna need to just go all like, you know, greater demons. Like I'm just gonna have to do like a 19 stack of greater demons so they can all fly over the walls and wreck everything, and my poor old chaos infantry are just gonna be like useless, you know. It's just gonna, you know, the ranged meta is gonna be even more so. Anyway, whinge off. Sexy terracotta animation, yeah.
Though I'm still very, very impressed with the fact that the AI is not being completely stupid.
Yeah, maybe having lots of entry points will make it like better.
Of course, remember this is still in development. I must admit that I'm surprised that the Noblars are doing decent. Yeah, some of them have taken a lot of damage, but yeah, surprisingly, they've done something. It's not like Skaven slaves, which, you know, you'd expect them to die out much sooner. In fact, one of them did use all their ammunition up. So yeah, maybe they will have some proper use, which is important considering that these are likely to be the only wall climbers throughout the...
Yeah, just my main problem with it is still that, you know, like major settlements are going to be easier to take than minor settlements. You know, it's just like, it's whack.
They might not be great, but they're decent enough to be able to last. We did see the staff...
Well, no, yeah, well, not just, yeah, well, possibly, but more so just the walls. Like the walls on major settlements are like are a handicap that you don't want to use, and the walls on minor settlements are impenetrable. Like, you know, like how does that work?
Some clarification from a member of Creative Assembly on Monday, as well, it's the weekend right now, they're not working, and I'd rather not bother them because nobody wants to be bothering them their time off. I'm imagining that fills up with how much...
I wonder if it could be specific to Ogre Kingdoms though. Like we did see the this minor settlement of the Ogre Kingdoms in one of the screenshots earlier. So just because the Ogre Kingdoms have like this crazy minor settlement battles with the mountains and everything, like maybe it'll be totally different for Empire. Empire might just be, you know, like a few huts with no walls around it or something.
Proper gameplay, especially battle gameplay, and obviously these types of things are very important to know. There's only a few months after the release.
And Mercy, the goal is eventually you'll have enough subscribers and viewers, you'll be able to do extra stuff. The content is good and you're funny as fuck, but don't shoot me for saying that. No worries, man. No, you can say whatever you want. You're a paid up member. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm gonna try to take off. I've got some annuals. I've got some long service leave because I've been working at my job for a long time now. I think I've got about 2 months leave or something. So what I think I'm going to try and do is just take all my leave at the start of Warhammer 3. So essentially I'll be able to like pretend that I'm a full-time streamer for a month or 2 before I have to go back to work. So yeah, so when that happens, we'll definitely be putting out a lot more content. So yeah, as soon as we start getting early access to Warhammer 3, I'm going to be, you know, trying to put out as much stuff as I can. I'm certainly going to be, you know, showing as much as I can for sure.
We've been able to see a lot of different units in action, not a lot of stuff like directly into the battle.
Don't know, is there anything else that we should check out? Yeah, I mean, maybe, yeah, there is a lot of egress points. How many entries is there? Like 6 or something? Didn't really get a good overview at any point, did we? I hope they'll tune down a bit range units in terms of damage, have a lot of intention to... Yeah, I hope, like with Khorne, like my thing with Khorne, I feel like the way that Khorne should work and how I'd like them to work is for them to have a lot of damage mitigation that they can put on, and like that ability we saw before where they can't die for 20 seconds. You can cast that on one of your units and they just can't die for 20 seconds. Like that kind of stuff is what I'd love to see for Khorne. So don't give them healing. Healing doesn't fit with the Khorne ethos, you know what I mean? Don't give them like don't give them healing or regeneration or anything like that, but give them stuff where you can cast it on them and they just absorb arrow shots or whatever, and you know, they just can't be held back, you know, can't die. It only lasts for 20 seconds and they can still take health damage. So for 20 seconds they don't die, and then as soon as that 20 seconds is up they just die, you know. It's like Slayers. Yeah, it's not that good.
It's kind of boring, as most of the times it's just been kind of just reskinned over and over again. So hopefully we're going to see a lot more battle map variety, especially to this standard, because I'm literally watching it again, likely for what, the 12th time.
Yeah, this battle map looks really cool. Don't get me wrong, I've got nothing wrong with this. No complaints about this battle map. Like, oh, that's not what I was saying at all. This battle map looks amazing. My only thing was just I was a little bit disappointed with the siege rework stuff that they've announced so far for the major settlements. I'm still hoping that they're going to do something about the walls.
Kind of fun. We're going to have lots of discussions and loads of different battles. Let me know what you think about the ogres and their minor settlements, however, as it does bear a lot to discuss.
Settlement is finally the whole map again. Yeah, so the settlement's like, yeah, so you can see the mini map up here. The settlement takes up like this. Oh yeah, and so you can see here there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 entrances. 1, 2, 3, or is that an entrance, or is that... Yeah, that's an entrance, yeah. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so there's 8 entrances. Yeah, so that's... Yeah, okay. That's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Maybe my Khorne berserkers can punch their way through somewhere. That'd be pretty cool. In previous Total War games, the settlement was just in the corner of the map, or is the fourth of the map. I mean, I feel like I remember the sieges in Rome 2 and Attila being kind of about this, like the settlement being about the same size as this, wasn't it? Maybe not. Maybe this. It's hard to tell the scale, actually. Yeah, no, there's pretty big, isn't it? I like there's kind of enough room. Like these, yeah, this terrain here looks really interesting. Like there's kind of enough room for a couple of units to sort of it's like best of both worlds. There's kind of enough room for a couple of units to negotiate around each other, but then there's also everything's sort of close enough together that you can kind of spread out a unit to block a path off if you wanted to, or whatever. Like you could definitely intercept stuff. Yeah, it's probably going to be, you're going to be deciding where the choke points are. You're probably not going to want to like what they did here, which is control all, like try to hold all of the outer parts of the map, is probably not what you want to do. You probably want to just hold, like, pull back into the sort of near the center and just hold a couple of, maybe like 4 egress points or whatever. Oh, Scrag killed Miao Yang, whatever it is, yeah. Scrag's such a cool looking character, pulling that pot around. Looks awesome.
But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video.
Is the major settlement battle worth watching?
I suggest giving the
Yeah, let's have a look at the major siege battle so I can have a bit more of a whinge about that.
Gameplay. Another siege battle, this one being a major settlement where the forces of Khorne are advancing onto the forces of Cathay. I know a lot of people aren't too interested in Khorne's forces as it's mostly focused around melee, but after building...
What big city are you near? I can't remember if you said Melbourne. Melbourne, Australia.
This was recorded by a member of Creative Assembly staff who preceded this. I've not been able to play, but I have been able to analyze this video fairly often. And just a quick note, as always, this was recorded in the development cycle, so we don't know exactly what build this is.
I want to kind of fast forward this setup phase, but yeah, we'll kind of like, we'll watch this and we'll see how my Khorne berserkers just run over their defenses straight away.
stone at the moment. This battle is a bit shorter than the minor settlement battle with the ogres, and what we can see is a rather healthy mix of both demonic and mortal units within this army. It's actually quite surprising, as I'm pretty sure the blog said that we'd be using mortals less and less as we had better access to demons. It's also important to note that this is a custom battle, not a campaign battle, so the person behind the computer could have just thought that this looked cool, and rule of cool is always best. But as I said, healthy mix, we have quite a lot of bloodletters, but we have a lot of Warriors of Khorne too, and I'm imagining that both of them will have different roles, but in a similar...
No one uses siege towers, yeah, I know. But, I mean, maybe it's different in Warhammer 3, though. Maybe siege towers are super good. Because the siege tower, like, protects the... There's a unit of infantry inside that siege tower, right? Bloodletters. And the unit of bloodletters is not taking any damage. So, you know what I mean? Like, it's... As long as it makes it to there, then, you know. Can you, I was wondering with siege towers, can you pull your infantry out? Like if the siege tower gets blown up, or you think it's about to get blown up, can you drop it? You can drop the siege tower like artillery, can't you?
With 3 different access points. So you're able to attack from different locations if you want to.
Yeah. Actually, that would be a great, that's a great idea. Yeah, Martin Torres. Siege towers are good, except they just take too long to build. That is like that is very poignant comment. Yes, if they just made it so that some characters had abilities to instantly spawn siege towers. So I think like anyone that has siege attacker, not anyone have siege attacker, but some people that have siege attacker, they should be able to instantly spawn rams and siege towers, and that way you would actually use them. You know what I mean? Like no one's gonna like be like, oh, I'd like to wait and siege this for a turn so I can attack next turn so that I can have the opportunity to use siege towers. No, everyone like avoids that. So I feel like siege towers and rams basically just like wasted, you know, they're just like wasted content because no one wants to use them. Whereas if they actually made it so that you could instantly make them with certain abilities and stuff, that'd be so cool.
To be able to counter the enemy. Again, this is AI, so it's quite smart to be able to move around. The Khornate forces do have a large number of...
There's no point attacking the walls, you can just crush the gate and so on for victory. Well, I've found it's actually better to climb the walls because then you can like see this, you got one unit behind and one unit in front, they're going to pincer these halberds in the middle and wreck them. Whereas if you go in through a doorway, you're just going to be in a blob. They're going to be just dropping mass. They can just put a circle of halberds around you, keep you in a blob around the doorway, and then just drop vortex spells on top of you. Whereas if you're on walls, it's very hard for them to vortex you. And if you've got strong elite infantry, you can get local superiority really easily on the walls. They can't get cavalry up there to help or anything. It's hard for them to reinforce. So yeah, I found like for me in Warhammer 2, wall bum rushing is pretty good.
As you can see, the gate's already fallen and everything's already moving in, all the cavalry, all the beasts, anything that couldn't climb up on the walls, whilst 2 other points of the walls are pretty much just holding down any straggling enemies, ripping them apart if possible. The interesting part is seeing the Bloodthirsters take out the balloons, as that's...
But you see what I mean? They just like go straight over the walls, straight through the doors. Like the fight just happens inside. The walls are irrelevant. They're not like part of the siege defense.
Yeah, probably not the best positioning from the AI, but still does kind of make sense, and these are mistakes that the player themselves can make. You're not really prepared for a giant bloodthirsty demon covered in blood coming at you with a giant axe, are you? Something that we can note here, which you might not have noticed...
I don't go for victory point usually in sieges. I usually win sieges by army losses. I usually kill all their units.
However, the Khornate forces are pushing further and further in, and... I get it, you know, once you get locked into combat, it's very much like in the tabletop, you're going to have to start fighting really hard, as Khorne is built for this. We can see Miao Ying is fighting on top of the walls, and she is able to do quite a bit of damage, but she's not near where the main threat is. The problem here is not actually AI issues, is more the AI going to deal with the early threats, which were obviously the wall climbers, and now the center is left undefended. This is honestly really exciting, as you're able to see quite a lot of damage coming to effect, and I quite like this because the AI can mess up, and this is stuff that we've all done in the past. I've made these mistakes.
Oh, where's my head go?
It's impossible to say that you can have a perfect game without making any mistakes whatsoever. What is really curious is that the AI isn't falling back.
That's
I
alright.
expect them to fall back a little bit. Instead, they're trying to, in some cases, but enough damage has been done already that all the Khorne forces are just...
See what I mean? If you got superior infantry on the walls, you can usually always take the walls easily.
We can't expect the AI to be completely intelligent. Plus, we don't know exactly what battle
Against the AI.
was, as I do believe that the AI gets a little dumber if playing on easier battle difficulties, though I will have to contact Creative Assembly for some clarification about this. Khorne's forces do seem quite powerful, so actually it does lighten the mood a little bit, because a lot of people...
Put my head in the unit portrait.
Destroyed early on,
yeah, cool.
But it looks like the troops can more or less handle themselves.
Okay.
My only possible complaint here is...
I'm the Khorne Berserker.
A different type of battle, where I'd still go with the same Khorne forces, but instead of having one Cathayan army, I would have had 1.5 or close to 2, kind of to simulate campaign as a army defending and also a garrison, just to see how Khorne would be able to hold out.
Yeah, Khorne would probably get smashed because they don't have any archers.
Hammer and anvil in a sense, as you're able to just charge in and just smash out enemy lines. I was worried, but that's kind of left already. Now, all I want to see is how they do in later game campaign when the enemies start bringing some doom stacks and so on, as this is obviously quite varied, but we're seeing quite a lot, and it's impressive. The fact is, Khorne is able to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, but obviously this is down to the tactics used. Small force to the left, small force to the right. That would start tricking the AI a little bit, especially since there's so many walls to defend, whilst the main force is at the gate trying to smash down the wall. Now, most of the Cathayan forces are actually dead at this point. The battle itself is quite small, especially for a major settlement, which, you know, is a tad disappointing, but then again, as I said, it is a battle and not a campaign battle. These are the custom battles. These are simulated by the actual staff or whoever's got access to the PC. So you wouldn't be able to see a full campaign.
Milk and Cookies has an Ogre Kingdoms versus Khorne minor settlement battle. Is it Khorne's minor settlement or Ogre Kingdoms minor settlement?
And the Cathayan forces were attacking, so you got to see how the AI moved. Here they're more stationary because they're...
Yeah, I'd be interested to check that out, especially if it's Khorne minor
The
settlement.
thing that throws me off is seeing Khorne forces flee, as, yeah, they're mortals and so on, but still, it's kind of looked unfavorably with the Blood God. I think that they should have better leadership. Then again, they'll still flee eventually, and there's no point, you know, making every single...
Ogre minor settlement? Okay.
Unbreakable or
Well, I guess that's, yeah, like, let's say, so here you can see, like, the Khorne guys just kind of run over the wall and kill everyone, which is pretty much what I expected to happen.
Taking the central location, and there's like no Cathayan units.
We haven't checked out any Milk and Cookies Total War. Let's give Milk and Cookies...
Okay, you guys have been oh so patiently waiting for real uncut gameplay, so here it is. In the flesh, the big ogre belly flab flesh. In this video, we're showing off a minor settlement battle at the Sky Monolith as the Ogre Kingdoms, led by their prophet of the Great Maw, Scrag the Slaughterer, defends against a Blood God invasion, complete with Bloodthirsters, Skull Crushers, and a Soul Grinder of Khorne. Before we get into the battle, though, I imagine you all want to see some unit stats and get a better understanding of what exactly each of these units do. So we'll tackle the video, and if you want to skip, powered by prisoner points, which are generated by killing routing or shattered troops. These unfortunate souls will presumably be eaten and or sacrificed to the Great Maw.
Okay, so you gotta kill routing or shattered troops to get your prisoner points. One good thing about that is that, hey, thanks for subscribing, Jarl. Thanks, mate. One good thing about that is that the ogres, the ogres had 54 movement just as their base for every unit. So you'll be able to, anytime you break a unit, your ogre infantry will automatically be able to run them down and smash them up, no problem, which is pretty cool. But yeah, like, so writing down prisoners with cav and stuff like that is going to be pretty important.
For 23 seconds, perfect for slowing down an on-rushing horde, then blowing them up with iron blasters and lead belchers. At level 2, we have Massacre.
Oh, actually, yeah, the lead belchers could shoot fleeing units as well.
DP and 20% base weapon damage in a 35-meter radius for when you're rolling in a death blob and absolutely must crump everything in your path. And finally, we have Butcher, granting a 30% heal and full vigor replenishment to a single target over the course of 18 seconds. You'll want to save that for your high-value monstrous cavalry and single-entity monsters, like your Stonehorn, and you'll need 75 routing kills before that Butcher heal can be used, so 25 kills for each ability level. Khorne's Blood for the Blood God meter works.
Yeah, so this heal, this powerful heal is like a built-in ability that every Ogre army has every battle. If you can get to the top level by capturing enough guys, capturing enough routing dudes. So yeah, so I guess that's another thing that's going to be interesting about the Ogre meta, because their magic, their bonus magic stuff here comes from captures. Breaking units is going to be extra good. You know, like you don't want to kill too many of the units like when you initially kill them. You want to break them and then kill them after they start running. You know, that way you power up your spells, you get your heal, you get your whatever other abilities that you might want to use, you know.
Much the same way, except that it's powered by total entities killed, unlocking a new ability every 100 total kills. Horn of Khorne is a flat melee attack buff with a 35-meter range. Relentless Rage makes a single target unbreakable.
Ogres would have a field day versus early Skaven. Yeah, unless I know Skaven get a buff when they break, they run faster than they normally move. Does Skaven with the movement buff when they break actually faster than ogres? Because they're faster than normal infantry by a lot, so it's really hard to run them down. But they're probably still a bit slow. Like even speed buff Skaven infantry would be slower than ogres, wouldn't they? Yeah, are they faster than 54? Maybe they are. So yeah, maybe they would be good. Greenskins probably would be good. Yeah, greenskin, like goblins and orcs tend to have pretty low leadership. But yeah, I don't know. So you've only got fire and gut magic. Neither of those give you like extra, you know, terror or any of that kind of stuff. But I don't know, maybe if you can get some like bound spells on items, you know, that give you like Doom and Darkness or something like that, would be extra crazy good on ogres.
And prevents entities from dying for 20 seconds, similar to Refuse to Die.
See ya, Nanny. Thanks for dropping by, man.
And Blade of Khorne unleashes a gigantic armor-piercing explosion. In terms of the unit rosters themselves, remember this is not the entire selection, it's just some of the ones that happen to be recorded, so keep that in mind. Nobbler Trappers are a hybrid stalking vanguard unit that will passively snare nearby.
Okay, so ogres probably would be able to catch up to Skaven. Although the relative speed matters as well. It doesn't just matter that they're faster. If they're like a lot faster, they'll do a lot more damage. Whereas if they're just a bit faster, they'll like catch up, kill a bit, and then they'll get away, and they'll catch up, and they'll kill a bit, and they'll get away, you know? Whereas because they sort of stop when they attack, not many units actually attack and fight at the same time. So like Grom the Paunch is one of the only units I think in the game that actually does attack animations while you're actually moving. So yeah, I think that's like kind of a thing with the infantry. They kind of like charge in, they'll hit, then they kind of stop, and then the infantry run away from them and they have to chase after them again, you know. So if they're a lot faster, they'll probably do a lot more damage.
This is our very first look at Rhinox Cavalry. Very exciting, and these are called
charge animations cause them to speed up. Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Clubs, 80 charge bonus, 130 weapon strength, majority AP, bonus first large, and they are
They do cause fear. I'm just trying to think if there's anything else you could do to get them to break faster, you know. I guess just like recharging them and stuff, all that kind of stuff. Hope they fix the routing problem. Which routing problem?
Means it will devastate infantry as long as it doesn't get bogged down.
Cav shock, yeah. Cav shock, yeah.
Launcher is the ogre's most powerful single entity monster with a massive HP pool.
Another thing that might be good for ogres is stuff that does large amounts of damage spread over a unit. So like because if you can do like, just say you can do like 50% of a unit's health damage in a really short amount of time, they'll take a massive morale shock and maybe break if they got low enough morale. But if you do like, let's say 30%, just say 30% damage. No, yeah, sorry, 50, whatever. 50% damage, right? 50% damage, and it spreads the damage over the whole unit. So it does like 30, just say just like 35 damage to every unit in the squad, right? They'll take massive damage, they'll morale shock, they'll shatter, right? but they'll all still be alive because each of those entities still has 60 health, right? You do 30 or 40 damage to each one, you don't get any kills, but you do massive health damage so the unit breaks, right? Whereas if you did something that did like a missile that killed like 10 guys or whatever, and it completely deletes those 10 guys, then that does like 30% of the damage of the unit, but those guys are dead, right? So they break. So once they're dead, you can't capture them, right? So yeah, so maybe that's another thing, like things that do like large amounts of damage but spread over the whole unit but not enough to kill any units outright could be really good for ogres as well.
Absolute freaking tanks. Blood Crushers are anti-infantry specialist monstrous cavalry, becoming even more deadly with their Hellblade passive, which kicks in past 80 kills.
32 units. How many units are in a normal unit of cavalry? Is 32 like normal? I feel like 32 is just kind of normal, isn't it? How many units of Reichsguard do you get in Reichsguard in a unit? It's about 32. I kind of feel like they should be like blood crushers and skull crushers and all that should be smaller. 45 units on ultra. 60 units. Not huge. Oh, actually, I'm in game over here. I could just check myself, I guess. So Dreadknights have 48. Okay, so they are smaller. Yeah, there's fewer entities. They are fewer entities. That's kind of cool. So they're kind of extra big cav. Do they count as monstrous cavalry? Or is there such a thing as monstrous cavalry? Does monstrous cavalry really? They're just cavalry, yeah, just cavalry, but they're only 32 instead of 48. So I guess they're kind of like blood knights or something. 32 is about demigryphs, maybe. Yeah, that sounds about right. Or blood knights, maybe. These pretty cool units.
Better overall stat line and frenzy, but lacking the anti-infantry specialization. Skull cannons are chariot artillery hybrids, basically a hell cannon if it could also run over infantry and melee, which in the tabletop they could. That never happened in Warhammer. It's happening for them here.
Oh yeah, what was the cav? I wouldn't imagine skull crushers would be very fast. I wouldn't expect them to be very fast. 62. Okay, yeah, so they're slightly slower than normal heavy cav. Heavy cav are normally 66, aren't they? Khorne bikes, yeah. They got 3 different types of bikes. They got the skull cannon, they got the like herald or whatever, and then they've got the other melee one.
Replenish ammo while feasting on their enemy's flesh. The Blood Shrine is a war altar chariot with heavy cav.
Oh, that's cool. So they replenish ammo when they're killing in combat? In melee combat?
Skull cannons are chariot artillery hybrids, basically a hell cannon if it could also run over infantry and melee, which in the tabletop they could. That never happened in Warhammer, but it's happening for them here, and they will passively regen.
Recharges if engaged in unit in melee. So they get 1 ammunition back every... No, they get some ammunition back for 5 seconds every 20 seconds. Okay. Oh no, recharges in melee. So you can't just attack something in melee and get it back instantly. You got to be in melee constantly for a while to let the cooldown recharge. So you got to get 20 seconds worth of cooldown to recharge. Yeah, you got to be in melee for 20 seconds.
And replenish ammo while feasting on their enemy's flesh. The Blood Shrine is a...
What was that last bit? I keep phasing out. I feel like I'm going to have a rest after this. There's like too much information. My brain's like can't handle it all. Like I need to just have a chill out time. I don't think I'm going to actually stream any more Malus tonight, guys. I'm just a bit like overwhelmed by all this information, and yeah, my brain's like draining me of energy. Sorry guys, just if I message somebody. Yeah, I might have to go anyway, guys. But I'll stay for probably another half an hour at least. Anyway, we'll have a bit more of a chat.
The Blood Shrine.
68 speed chariot.
With heavy cav speed, passively regenning while in melee, buffing nearby allies.
Wait, that was passively regenerating health? No.
Chariot with heavy cav speed, passively regenning.
Okay, so 0.1% heal per second. So 10 seconds gives 1%, 100 seconds gives 10%. So it's very slow regen. It's only got 18 melee defense. It only regens while it's in melee. So yeah, so it's a bit crap. Like the regen's not going to be very fast. It's not going to be, like, the regen's not going to be fast enough to you know. It's probably going to be good for, well, if you fight it, you can fight in a battle with it for a while, and then if your unit breaks, you just stick that on to hunt down the broken unit. It'll be faster than infantry, and it'll be able to regen its health while it's chasing those infantry. So if you have a whole bunch of these, you know, these actually could be viable for a melee stack, because after battles you could heal them up by chasing down all the infantry. So yeah, anything on Khorne that's got a heal is what you want, you know.
While in melee, buffing nearby allies' melee attack and leadership, and the Soul Grinder of Khorne hits like a Mack truck at 500 weapon strength, 800 missile damage, both majority AP, and like most Khorne.
The hunger's super high, isn't it? The hunger like 16 health per second, or 8 health per second or something.
Units sporting 25% resistance to spell damage. Bloodthirsters are of course some of the scariest melee combatants in the game, able to augment their own speed, massively increase their already
Augment their own active ability, charge bonus, speed, blah blah, 17 seconds. Okay, so just got a speed bonus to last 17 seconds. Cool. Cast as many times as they want. Melee damage, yeah.
Fire magic missile, breath
of damage. Can use if outside combat. 6 cents. Oh, and wow, this just regenerates. They only get one shot per. Oh no, they got only three uses. Yeah, so limited.
Explode enemies around them in a burning rage, while generally just utterly decimating anything that happens to get too close. So, wanted you guys to have a general understanding of what each of the units do on the battlefield before playing.
Vampire hunger is 4 per second. Is it? I thought it was more than 4 per second. 4 per second is like the crappy thing, thing that necromancers get. I thought hunger was higher than that. Okay.
Plunging into the action. My apologies if that took a little bit longer than anticipated, but let's move over to the minor settlement battle now and see how.
Oh, sorry, yeah, but anyway, it's crap though. I'm not saying it's crap because it's not as good as hunger. I'm saying it's crap because it's on a chariot that doesn't have any melee defense. So you can't pull that thing in and park it in the middle of a crap stack of infantry like you can with Vlad and have him just tank and regenerate himself. You know, if you do that, the chariot will get wrecked. So the chariot's got to be cycle charging, and when you're not in combat, you aren't getting any regen. So do you know what I mean? Four regen per second when you're in combat for a total of like 10 seconds out of every minute is not really going to be that helpful. But like I said, you can use it to regen on chasing down fleeing infantry that aren't attacking you back, and then it might actually be pretty good.
All of this plays out. I do need to make it clear, I am not the one playing any of these battles over the coming days. These were all recorded by Josh from Creative Assembly. He's the liaison between YouTubers and the devs, and the head of our content creator Discord. So pardon any inexperience and janky camera movement on his part. He is not.
You can park it in your own units, but it's sort of wonky because you have to get it in melee, and because the way that units move around in combat all the time, either it's going to end up, you know, in front of your front lines getting smashed by the enemy infantry, or your infantry going to push forward and your chariot's not going to be in combat anymore. You know, it's just like way too much micro for you to try and get 4 health per second, you know. Whereas if you can just click it on a fleeing unit, let it go for like a minute or so while you do some other stuff, it's all right.
Holy crap. thing is expansive. There are a lot of avenues of attack.
Oh yeah, that's interesting as well, that it's getting 4 per second, whereas other entities like the ogres were getting percent heal. So that's quite interesting. I find Gorgons chasing stuff not being really effective, even at 8% for them. I imagine it's worse on a chariot. Yeah, I noticed they go out of combat sometimes when they're chasing. The chariot was percent. We just started talking about the 4% thing. Yeah, sorry, I confused myself. Yeah, that's the only thing. When you are chasing fleeing units, you do go out of combat sometimes. It's especially bad with like flying units, because they're always like taking off and flying and charging and crap. Chariots wouldn't be as bad.
Many ways for an enemy to approach, many ways for you to defend, and certainly a lot of opportunity for a layered defense where you can maybe put 1 or 2 units in a choke point, hold them back, and then basically layer it like an onion, just like the ogres like to do. Get in touch with their emotions and their need to feed. Play the long game, a war of attrition, and slowly move your army towards that final captured plaza as you lay feints and traps in a fighting retreat. Contrary to what you might think, ogres actually have the mobility and the firepower to make that kind of tactic work. These choke points look brutal for an attacker though, and certainly much more dynamic looking battle.
That's right, choke points do look brutal for attacker.
And Warhammer 2. If you take a look at the unit cards from left to right, this ogre army is led by Scrag the Slaughterer and a...
Does he just put in like ogre artillery in the front line?
Crusher Rhinox Cav, a Slave Giant,
A legend.
Man-Eater
It's a big D move.
Tier 5 units right now. Not sure I agree with that placement. If their performance in game 2 is anything to go by, I'd say they're more of a tier 4 unit at best. Maybe
I have 5 minutes today to watch YouTube. Somebody give me a fast update. Are we happy or angry? Excited or bummed out? Yeah, we basically, well, there's lots of information. So basically you can look at, there's all of the units you get close-ups of every unit and every unit's cards, giving all their stats, every spell, you know, so it's heaps of information. So if you want information, then you'll be happy, because there's heaps of information. It's not every single unit in the game, but you know, it's quite a good selection of each roster.
interesting thing to note here, with the way Khorne's blood
Sieges look crap, units look nice. Minor settlement sieges look pretty cool for the really fun for the defender. I don't know how fun they're going to be for the attacker. And I'm still a little bit disappointed that they haven't fixed anything with walls for the major settlements, but it's alright. Why isn't he putting missiles on the bridge? Yeah, no, he's using these missiles as frontline defensive infantry for some reason. Like, those lead belchers have got nothing in front of them. They're just going to get fucked up. I don't know what he's doing there, but...
Flat 100 kills always. Might be hard for Khorne to get those against ogres and monsters.
No worries, John. Yeah, check out Great Book of Grudges. I think he's one...
Straight up aggro, going balls deep here. That's actually insane. They went into the teeth of the enemy army, which is very Khornate, but literally this is where the ogres are strongest right here. It's where Scrag the Slaughterer and his Stonehorn is. You pop Bullgorger. Oh, please don't do it. No, please don't. No, God, no. No! No, Josh, no! No, God. That Burning Head is probably not going to do a whole lot against monstrous infantry, and yeah, hitting Minotaurs is basically all that hit. Maybe a couple, yeah, it went through the infantry, but they're all armored.
You're supposed to be able to dock missile units on the walls now, right? Yeah, you could always dock missile units on the walls. That's the whole problem. When you dock missile units on the walls, they don't function anymore, you know? Oh, now I heard walls aren't fixed, so it's going to be in my head for... Yeah, sorry. No, walls aren't fixed.
Against the Blood God's favored sons, and even has a...
Even just allowing the back rank to point outwards would be a big point for walls. Yeah, it would be huge. That'd be great.
Man-Eater Pistol is pulling back towards the...
But yeah, that's the problem with walls, is that, yeah, you can't focus fire. Whereas in these minor settlement battles, you can, with choke points, you can focus fire. It would be really good. See you, John. Have a good day.
I think that model per model, the Mornfang and the Rhinox both should have no problems beating Skull Crushers. They'll take a lot of damage, of course, but it's 12 models versus 32. They have way more weapon strength per model, and overall, I think they'll just do better and be more synergistic with healing, which Ogre Kingdoms have quite a lot of. Fire Breath, maybe gonna get cast here. Explosions going off around that Exalted Bloodthirster, who is already down to 1/3 HP because he YOLO suicided into the middle of all of their best single entity monsters. So, not the smartest AI. Nothing too shocking there, I don't think. perhaps somewhat thematic for Khorne, though. Yeah, he's going to get that Saber Tusk ambush off perfectly. Big charge in from the rear, and with their 70 weapon strength, they should be able to nom their way through the low melee defense of that artillery.
I like how Indie Pride's doing like full like multiplayer casting on this battle, even though it's just like Josh playing against the AI.
1/5 health now, and the maw about to get cast by our homie Josh.
Let's see what this the more looks like.
Dual weapon coordinate warriors.
Oh wow.
And exploding a ton of them, but perhaps looking more like a spectacle than anything super noteworthy. Let's say 20 winds of magic spell that maybe did 1/3 the HP of a mid-tier Chaos Warrior unit. So
It looked cool, but didn't do too much damage though.
worth it, but cool to see it nonetheless. Perhaps if you overcast that, you get more armor-piercing damage, but the damage was a little bit underwhelming on that cast for sure, and they were pretty blobbed up, so I wouldn't say that was a terrible usage of the spell. There are some single entities that are sneaking past and maybe thinking about moving towards the middle of the map here, but yeah, that Exalted Bloodthirster beating up on the Slave Giant, towers firing in from above. Josh did build
Maybe it's good for low armor.
outer edges of this minor settlement. Saber Tusk did not manage to deal with that artillery at all. They got absolutely pooped on by, I imagine,
High armor and high magic resistance. Yeah, good call.
skull cannons can defend themselves. So
Good call. So maybe that was just an example of Khorne like not giving a shit about magic, being all like, whatever, bro.
from them, I would
Magic doesn't affect me.
because Saber Tusks are no joke. They don't have amazing leadership. They're not incredibly resilient or tanky.
It was fast. Yeah, it was stationary and quick. That's true, Green Brian. It wasn't like a vortex that just wanders off somewhere.
He's cleared up everything on this side of the map, and now he can kind of turn his attention to the other edges where things are starting to break down a little bit. And he's taken tons of casualties. This is not a particularly tanky Ogre Kingdoms army. No Iron Guts, not a lot of armor across the board. Most of these are I'd say mid-tier Ogre Kingdoms units besides the Stonehorn, Firebelly, Scrag, and the Slave Giant, which is almost dead. And of course, he is fighting a lot of high-tier Khornate stuff. There's Blood Crushers, there's Skull Crushers, there's a...
They changed the colors of arrows from yellow to green.
Oh no, the fire.
Not sure what you mean.
Scrag's beaten up, he's retreating.
What arrows?
Dropping a Bone Crusher to try to get a little bit
Like the arrow trails.
percent AP.
Oh, wow.
Damage going in.
What was that thing?
And even the Stonehorn, the tier 5 monster, routed against that Exalted.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah.
Greater Demons of Khorne were
Usually, yeah. I guess they did. Yeah.
stages.
So there's like green movement markers instead of yellow.
Through 8,500 HP of a tier 5 monster, get Scrag down past half and almost kill off.
Good eyes. I didn't even notice that.
Monstrous Cavalry needing to retreat, using the bridge to make it over, and Scrag might get sniped out here by a Greater Demon of the Blood God. Monstrous Cav is probably gonna make it there in time. Soul Grinder.
Why would they do that? Yeah, I don't know.
Firebelly's just toast at this point. 500 weapon strength, majority AP on that Soul Grinder. Brutal. Casting Eruption to try to create some space. Might be able to do some work against the infantry, but
That
not
didn't do much damage again, did it?
And oh no, could Josh lose this game? It's a possibility. I think he should be able to stabilize here, but it's been kind of a torrid affair so far. Taken lots of losses. Big breath attack coming in from the Exalted Bloodthirster, but that's gonna miss.
Everything is green. Yeah, true. Yeah, the arrow,
Archers are waiting
like
for
ranged
that
indicators and all that stuff.
for them. There's a single entity coming up from behind that might be
Green is best.
on his little chariot. Rhinox Cav should be able to deal with it no problem at all. And you'll notice that he still has not unlocked Dismember through his army abilities because he hasn't been able to chase off any routing troops. Maybe if they're crumbling, I imagine if they're crumbling, which demons do, just as the Bloodthirster disappears, I think he just crumbled out. I think they generate the routing or shattered kills that way if they're crumbling out at the same time. But we just got to look at the grape shot from the Soul Grinder of Khorne, basically firing a cannon like a Necrofax Colossus. Interesting. But yeah, both the Ogres and Khorne can kind of troll each other on the army abilities, and neither has been able to generate much in the way of their special powers.
So that's interesting. So if you went like a full flagellant army with everyone unbreakable, then the ogres wouldn't be able to get any charges at all for their fleeing magic because none of your stuff would ever flee.
1200 HP left on him.
Pretty cool.
Scrag and the Monstrous Cav should think about sallying out here and just getting a full surround off on that soul grinder.
Forget the pressure in the minor settlements might be really overwhelming at first because there's no time to prepare with walls. I mean, the micro, I guess, if you mean like trying to defend all directions at once, yeah. I think a human, like no, well, it's Josh's human. I mean, I think a player, like in the, once you've had some practice with the game, I imagine you won't try and defend all of the outer walls. Depends what, like there's certain capture points that you need to control, I think. So depending on where they are placed, like if you actually have to defend all the outer walls because there's too many resource points that the enemy will get or whatever, then yeah, that'll be pretty bad. But if you can just pull back and to protect the town center or whatever, then you know, it won't be this bad.
Got a bunch of kills. There were just so many single entities.
Gameplay, yeah. If you check out all the partners, have got videos up. Yeah, Nicholas. Battles, unit cards, close-ups on units, siege battle, minor settlement, siege battle, open field battles. If you want to see all the units, Grateful Grudges got like every faction, like units, like covering all of the units and looking at the stat cards, and so is Zerkovich, I think. And if you want to see sieges, then yeah, this one's a minor settlement. Grateful Grudges got a major settlement one as well.
That hero goes down. I think this might be GG, but at what cost? You've lost your Stonehorn. You've lost your Sabertusk. You've lost your Gorgers. It's been very painful.
Pick a side to be strongest at, then pick the other side to add barricades, a small number of buys time, beat them with the strongest, and run back to reinforce. Well, yeah, I'll just pull back to a small area where you can defend everything.
Ogre Kingdoms are going
like, you know, put all your ranged in the middle, and then just defend around your ranged.
That will be a crumbling soul grinder. Army losses kicks in.
I mean, that's pretty basic, but that kind of seems like the obvious thing to do.
Khorne will give them.
And the only reason not to do that is if you see how there's different, like, you can't really, if we stop here, so there's a tower there, and there's, I think that could be is that one of the resource points? That resource point's been captured by the enemy, so they're actually getting barricade points and whatever for Khorne to be able, not barricades, but they can build stuff, you know? So yeah, so like the logical thing would be to pull back into a small defensible area where you can just block off the entrances into that area and then use your range in the middle to focus fire anything that comes at you. That's like just the obvious defensive thing. But if there's like 4 different points that you need to hold, otherwise you lose the game, and they're spread out all around the map, then, you know, then that's not going to work and you're kind of screwed.
Say I'm in love with the layout itself. I mean,
yeah, layout looks really cool.
Battlefields are just so much more dynamic than the open field plain scenarios we've seen.
Yeah, as I said, I have no problem with the minor settlement design. This looks really cool. It looks really fun. My only problem is just that the walls, I don't feel like the walls got fixed, you know, and I feel like I don't know, maybe they can't, there's nothing they can do, but I feel like there must be something they can do to make walls more meaningful, you know. In major, not in this one, in major settlement battles, I mean.
Pretty cool to watch.
Well, there you go. Because it's a Hikoi video, it's not going to have much technical information.
The time has come, and so have I. The ogres are here. Fuck my ass, what is happening? Give me access already. Goddamn, I cannot wait 3 months knowing that they're in. I mean, at least I get early access, and I can share my footage here. Like right now. I'm sat on some Warhammer 3 Ogre Kingdoms battle footage given to me and other content creators by CA. I have an Ogre Kingdoms land battle against Tzeentch, a major siege on Cathay, and the one I'm weirdly the most hyped about, a minor settlement battle, defending an ogre settlement. I have some thoughts on them, but mostly I just want to show you guys some shit-hot unit roster footage and pick out the good bits. There's a few units missing that are confirmed to be in the game by the recruitment listings and screenshots, or just confirmation from King Simone in the Total War Discord, like Iron Guts and Iron Blasters. There's also recruitable units shown on the building panel screen of the Ogre Campaign Mechanics blog that are missing from this roster, like the Hunter and the Butcher heroes, ogres with iron fists, I think 2 man-eater variants preceding the 2 we already know about that I'm assuming are single weapon, and a shielded or dual weapon variant. A couple of Mournfang and Rhinox variants, and a Stonehorn variant. Oh, and the biggest missing guy, Greasus, from Greasus Cart 4.
He's so cool.
I still don't know how I feel about this little cart, since it isn't the same as his lawful throne carried by a throng of Noblars.
Yeah.
He's absent from this, so we won't get to see him until later, I guess. So
The Noblars are
before I
cool.
talk about the roster, I just want to gush about the fucking maps. Warhammer 3 is shaping up to have some of the best looking maps of any of the titles so far. Seriously, look how fucking good they look. How they play
yeah,
now, but
they look good.
visually, fucking sheesh. First up is Noblars, the adorable little assistants to the ogres. Think goblins, but slightly smaller, bigger ears and nose, and scrappy as fuck. The basic infantry unit is what you'd expect, expendable, abundant, and weak. Massive unit size though, at 160 little guys per unit, which is fucking awesome. Then we have a little more interesting version, which I'm pretty hyped for. Dual weapons, stock, ranged, but also melee hybrid trappers, with a damaging trap AoE ability that slows and reduces speed, and charge bonus. On top of that, they have stalk and vanguard deployment. They're essentially sneaky stabbers, but ranged and with traps.
Yeah, Castles will definitely be a DLC race. Don't need to worry about that.
Genuinely good Doomstack. Then you have your Ogre Bull basic infantry. Next we have Gorges. These are an interesting one, and if you haven't already, you should look up their lore. It's pretty fucking metal. Unbreakable, Stalk, Frenzy, Vanguard, and a
here we go.
Gorger tag for some
We know if you
scrap
free
that we'll
to
get into later. Suffice to say that they'll make
yeah,
an
no,
insane Doomstack.
alright, well, I'll just
Next is just the Man-Eaters and Man-Eater pistol mucks they put into Warhammer 2. This is one of my most
yeah, I gotta go, guys, but
they're just ogres.
I'll put a link to Oko's video if you guys wanna watch the rest. Thanks so much for coming and checking this out with me. Yeah, sorry I don't have any early access to show you guys anything interesting, but you know, I needed to watch all this stuff because I haven't seen it yet, you know. So you know, and I don't really, as I said, I don't have much time. So the only time I get to do Warhammer is when you guys, when I'm streaming with you guys mostly. So thanks for hanging out with me, keeping me company while I checked out all this cool new infos. That's a link to Okoy's video that I'm currently watching. If you want to finish it off, recommend you check out Okoy's channel if you haven't already. It's pretty cool. Bro. You guys can Google Okoy. Fuck, what do you want from me? Do I have to fucking do everything myself? There you go. Hopefully that one works a bit better. No, it's the same, isn't it? I don't know. Oh, anyway, you can see his name there, Okoii. Just check out that. But yeah, no, thanks a lot, guys. For coming, and yeah, thanks everyone that came to yesterday's stream to celebrate our 10,000 subscriber special. We will play a bit more. I'll try and play a bit more of that campaign in between all these information reveals and stuff that we're getting. But yeah, anyway, all right, I'm gonna go, guys. You guys have fun, and yeah, awesome. So much cool information. I'm excited about Warhammer 3. It's gonna be great. All right, have fun, guys. Catch you later.